Hello, this is George Sedgwick. You're listening to episode 379 of the Gaming and BS podcast, which I have never listened to and probably never will, though I have heard good things. The fact is, I'd like to become rich, and my understanding is the best place to do that is within the RPG community, specifically podcasting. So as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to hit send, open my wallet, and expect the big bucks to roll right in. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Gaming and BS, the tabletop RPG podcast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Brett. Welcome to the show, folks. Welcome back. Glad everybody's on board. Sean, how the hell are you, man?
Doing well, Brett. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad at all. How's the gaming scene been for you since we talked?
It's been interesting. I was to run Forbidden Lands last week, but we were going to be down a player, so we opted not to forego that session. That was the Wednesday night.
Now, let me, did you forego it because the game doesn't play well if you're missing a person?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. But Jim, our moderator, had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby, but it's his first. And so he was going to miss. And then we just kind of came to consensus. Whereas there was a couple like, if you're going to miss, if we're going to skip, that's fine. Not a big deal. So I made a judgment call. I could have played, but I think the next session for that group will be the wrap up session. And because I think they're in front of the Goblin Cave again. So we'll see what they do.
Goddamn goblins.
Right. So, I mean, if they go away from the Goblin Cave, that's fine. But I think they're dead
They're going to deal with this.
Kicking the goblins' asses and getting their food back. And then I think it'll be a good wrap up to like probably session 4, I think. So
I don't know what, I mean, the reason I asked that question is because it just hit me, because you and I talk about games and what we like or don't like. And that's a question we've never asked. Like, so this game plays really well. It's a good campaign, da-da-da-da-da. What happens when somebody's not there? Does this game facilitate that in any way? Does this game matter? I mean, does it all come down to story, or what happens when someone's missing? Do you always cancel? If you've got a 3-person team, one cancels, do you always cancel? Do you I don't know. Not that the game has to solve that problem for me. I know in Gumshoe you get points based on the number of people who are regular players, quote unquote. So like if you had 5 players but only 4 of them show up all the time, everybody builds the 4 regular player points type of thing.
Yeah.
Make them down to individual group preferences too. Anyway, sorry. What else did you do?
And the other group, I was talking to Harrigan, and he's like, "I really want to get Forbidden Lands to the table." And I said, "All right, well, why don't you run Friday?" And he goes, "Well, I wouldn't be ready." There was some discussion. Because we're at the portal for my group, my session, my game, game, our game, whatever, as me as the game master. And I just thought if he wanted to give it a go, he's like, well, I don't know, if I'll be ready and, whatever. So.
You thinking of doing you take Harrigan's character? You guys step through the portal?
No. So we put out 4 options to the players.
Oh, okay.
One option was shit can that idea and just stick with what we're doing. Or he takes over and then we continue with the same player characters where we are and he just takes over as the game master. Or we all start new characters or, whatever. So we are all going to start new. He's going to put us through the Bitter Reach, which is a supplement for Forbidden Lands, which is, going through the ass cold area of Forbidden Lands. So he kicked it off kind of session 0 all at once. And it was, the session 0, because we've been gaming for like 18 months with each other. There's some things we didn't have to cover necessarily. And then he dove in. So we went through a couple hexes and come across the house a small cabin kind of thing on the river and a couple dead bodies. So, But our goal is to get to the Bitter Reach because I'm playing a peddler along with the other group, right? And there's money to be made up there, Brett. There's opportunity, trade, stuff like that. And then, so that's that. And I haven't decided what I want to do after the Wednesday night Forbidden Lands group is done. I've looked at Alien. I've looked at Feng Shui. Star Wars has entered my brain. So we'll see. I don't know. How is your gaming, Brett? That's enough of mine.
Well, let's see here. I have set up a game with you, Stefan Dragonspawn, and Craig, and I'm going to run some Avalon for you guys. We're just going to play, but I've been threatening Stefan that you and I are going to play in a game with him for a couple years now. I'm like, that's it. God damn it. We're going to make this happen. So that's coming up later this month. So I'm looking forward to that. Cooking up some stuff I think should be fun. Going to get some pre-gens going. My home group, we finished up the Horn King, my World of Darkness horror mashup thing. There wasn't time travel, it was time slips. There was a lot of, I carried that over from a different campaign, the concept of time moving poorly or things bumping in and out, being phased around them. So they solved that problem. It was interesting. They finally figured out who the bad guy was. They're basically two bad groups. The Nazis, which are always bad guys.
Always.
And then
there's never a good Nazi.
No. And then there was the guy who was the head of MedTech, the evil corporation guy, who was actually the cultist and so on and so forth. So okay. All right, cool. So they uncovered a bunch of stuff, took care of the Nazi problem. Then they went off to deal with this other dude, and they put it together like, wait a minute. We said X, Y, and Z in front of this bad guy, and he didn't know what we were talking about. I think we got an edge on him. He doesn't know that we know that we have this, and he doesn't know that we also have that. So they went through a whole list of like, holy fuck, we have an advantage. So they basically went to ground. They completely hit the mattresses and disappeared. And the bad guy couldn't find them. And the bad guy, foolishly, and I didn't know if anybody would catch it or not, but he said, in the next 48 hours, this thing will, he's monologuing. Next 48 hours, like, oh, we got to hide for 2 days. We can hide for 2 days. And they just went down, ignored everything for 2 days, came back, and they fixed it. It was fixed effectively, right? The bad guy had to couldn't do what he needed to do because they had stolen stuff from him. By the time he figured it all out, it was too late. And they basically pulled a fast one and just disappeared. What was I going to say from the Usual Suspects, just disappeared.
Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze just kind of walked off the scene. And they were like, wow, that was, I was at first shocked thinking, oh, they're going to be pissed because kind of no grand fight, nothing at the end. And they all looked at me and said, no, that was a good ending. We survived. We figured it out. And that was a smart ending. We didn't decide to go toe to toe with something that was very obviously going to kill most, if not all of us. We did the smart play. So they're pretty pleased with themselves. And then I talked to them about what game we wanted to play next. And I had brought up Vaesen. And I said, hey, just talked about this on the show. What do you guys think? And like, interesting. Well, what else have you got? So I said, well, I got Symbaroum as well. Interesting. And I said, well, what are you guys really hungry for? Something that we haven't done or aren't doing. And they talked back and forth. And finally, Lenny's like, I think we just want a really tactical, heavy minis game. I said, you guys want to play Pathfinder? Yeah. I'm like, all right, fine. So they want to play Pathfinder First Edition. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's what you want. I had a different world that I'd been brewing up for a while. I'm like, okay, you guys want to play that? Then I get to pick the world that's going to be in. Like, that sounds great. So they're in my Wasteland world, which is kind of a mashup of stuff from the Gunslinger series. So they've got 6 guns, craziness. There is stuff from I stole from an old John Wick thing that he did back in the Gaming Outpost forum days about dead gods and the world's blasted, and it's a little more survivalish. No clerics, the bad guys, you know, the Shadow is there and so on and so forth. Kochi the Deathless is the main villain. We'll see if they ever deal with that or not. But they've encountered some pretty brutal stuff already. There's a town that had sold all of their they come into this town called New Gideon, and the town had sold all of its children for their immortality. And they kept welcoming the players in because they needed fresh meat to sell, either to make new children with because they were like hundreds of years old at this point, or to sell the players as the meat. So they had to do something to keep their immortality going. The players sort of kind of figured it out, but they at one point went, "This is fucked up," and kind of decided to kick ass and take names. And it was a gibbering mouther damn near laid waste to the party. Just one gibbering mouther, because people couldn't make their saves. And it was a blast. But yeah, that's what we're going to do again tomorrow. They wanted to do something super tactical. I think what this will do is it'll scratch that itch for the guys. They love pushing lead on the table, you know, having the minis and all that stuff. And then next up, I can pull out Basin or something like that. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah. Now let's do some Theater of Mind stuff." It'll come right back circle for them. So
You don't. They do not have Pathfinder 2nd edition, correct?
no, I had a copy of it a while back. I got like an uber discounted version of it. I started reading it. I was explaining it to the group. They're like, "No." Like, "Yeah, look, this is how this kind of works." I'm like, we already have a lot of stuff invested in 1st edition. We like it. We like the way it works, the way it flows. Whenever we get the hankering for that, that's what we want to play. I'm like, okay, fine by me. And I didn't have anybody else to play with, so I had like the core rule book and a Monster Man. I read through it. I'm like, why do I have this still? I sold it. So, but I got it for next to nothing.
You let him off easy, Brett. I would have thought you could have thrown probably a good hardback at him physically and then said, "Hey, you want to run tactical? Then you want to play that? Then you run this crap. Bust my ass over here. Give him the lay on the guilt." And
well, I think I said this before,
I just
man.
did an episode on Basin touting how great it was, and now you assholes want to.
Do this shit
I
to
see
me?
how it is. Yeah.
Well, the cool thing is that I was explaining this to AJ, and I said it here on the show before, is I told AJ what the game is. He goes, "Ooh, doesn't one have a lot of blah, blah, blah?" I said, "Well, the key is that's their problem, not mine." I said, "I'm the game master. I can break the rules whenever I feel like it. I can modify, change, delete." I said, "I just got to brush up on the core. What's a CMD, CMB, stats, movement, blah, blah, the basics. After that, monsters are mine to tinker with. It's my world. It's a world that I developed and created that's different. It's not standard boilerplate, whatever." I said, so it's the heavy duty crunch is all on them whenever they level up. Good, go for that. Go have your fun leveling up. Do that thing.
Yeah, just get the Kobold, the Kobold Publishing monster, Toma monsters, and you're good to go.
I have the
Toma Horrors.
Yeah, Toma Horrors.
Yeah. So
I pulled that sucker out, and as soon as I'm not using the regular monsters at all, really. Everything's slightly modified or tweaked. It's going to be horrible. And I pulled some shit out of an old couple Lamentations of Flame Princess modules that I have that I stole some things from as well. So it's fun. So far, it's so good. So we'll see how long they last. The worst part about this type of thing, though, is this is when a couple of my players, they love building up their character and they see all the potential. They spend all this time building, crafting character, right? Moving the points around. And then when you die, it's all the more terrifying because you spent all this time building this character up and then they croak. So we'll see what happens. But they've already learned that life isn't necessarily cheap. You're going to die all the time right away, like insta death type of thing. But it's not a lot of punches being pulled. They got to play smart.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Excuse me. I don't think there was anything else really super insane going on. So what the hell are we doing this week? Oh yeah, I'm running a game for you, aren't I?
So this is at the point in the regular episode for 7+ years where we would go into random encounter.
Yep.
We're not doing that tonight. And then after random encounter, which probably takes up 20 minutes, maybe sometimes, go into a main topic. Not doing that tonight. Then after that, we'll do typically die roll. which is usually another 5 minutes or so. And then we talk about what we're going to do on the next episode. We're not doing that tonight either.
We're crazy.
We're living on the edge, baby. You can teach old dogs new tricks. That's the whole thing. It's like, if you don't get anything out of this episode, it's, hey, you can't teach old dogs new tricks.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, well, it looked like he rolled over. He kind of tried. look at that guy. I can't tell if his arthritis kicked in or whatever, but old Rex, he gave it a good go. He's trying to roll over. Good for him. You know what? He gets a treat anyway.
Speaking of old Rex, my Jumbo is like, my wife was telling me Jumbo is like 15 years old. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, that cat's been around.
It's been around.
Yeah, a long time, dude.
And she's like, no, 15. I'm like, well, he was, we rescued him, but he's still going. Like that guy can't go. He's my boy. Anyways, that's my Jumbo, my cat. Anyways, so what we're gonna do is setting.
And when Sean says cat, he means NFL football with feet.
29-pounder. He's come down a little bit.
Well, he's built like a rugby ball. He really is.
It's like a big bear. Anyways. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is Brett in the last episode said, and we were talking. We've mentioned this on and off. I've mentioned it on and off through through the streams on Saturday, where Game Master podcasts like us tell you all kinds of things. We can go into, hey, how do you get your players to interact with lore? Hey, GM screen, GM fiat, player agency, all 378 episodes. But you still get Game Masters that start out, Dungeon Masters that start out and they get really super nervous. They don't know how much to plan. They plan too much. People like us are giving them 50 different ways to do things, tons of advice, and they're getting overwhelmed. And then when they get to the table, they kind of get into their own groove, and then they kind of hone it as a craft, some of us. And so one of the things that people brought up, and I think there's a market for it to some degree, is, okay, Brett's going to run a game or a scenario. I'm going to be the player, and he's going to, in real time, kind of mention why he's making the decisions or how as he's running the game. Some of us, this is going to make sense. Some of us are going to agree with how agree, disagree. When you look at Matt Mercer run a game of Critical Role, you're not quite sure what's going on in his brain. You don't know if he's reading it from a script, like he's got, like a module that he's got written out. You know, if he's got some notes. I mean, I know he's got a legal pad, but you're not, if a character zigs to your zag and you need to adjust, is there a compensation for that? And is that put in place? Did they plan for that? Or did they not? Or did they have to kind of fly by the seat of their pants and inject something into the game to make it go? And so I was talking to Brett, and Brett's like, yeah, we could do that. We'll make up two characters, Sean, and then I'll run you through something. So I don't know if this is going to be like an hour. We're not going to go like 2 hours because Brett and I've got stuff to do. Right?
It'll be a longer show though. I can almost guarantee you.
It might be a longer show.
Honestly, wouldn't doubt that it could go 2 hours, dude. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Part of the interesting thing when you do any kind of actual play live, I found this out doing it with the Avalon actual plays, is sometimes you're like, wow, that was quick. Like other times, like, holy shit, that was 4 hours. Oh my God, we played for 4 hours. And you're recording it and then doing whatever it is you're doing with it afterwards. Sometimes it goes fast. Sometimes it takes a while. So this is a so I guess I've got some like preamble intro stuff, Sean. If you're good with it, I could kind of get going, and when you start talking.
So we should, but I want to set this up because okay, so normally, or maybe not normally, there might be a session 0. Some have done it in line with a session 1. Some have done it as its own thing, standalone. And in session 0, you can cover a lot of different things. Some people don't run in session 0. They just say, hey, do this. Okay. But in
what you and I, and what you and I did with session 0 here was off the mics. We talked about this between the last couple of shows, and we agreed that, hey, this is how we're going to go about this. And part of how we're going to go about it is like, look, I'm going to lean in and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it, so on and so forth. And then I need you, Sean, to play straight and play the characters and ignore the fact that I'm giving away something, right? Because I don't know. We don't have a better way to do it, right?
Right.
And Sean, I figured
you could not have picked a more professional level player.
Exactly. Consummate professional.
Yes.
And that's why I told Sean, I'm like, I know you, I trust you, I love you like my brother. You've got this.
I would
didn't tell
never
Sean I
use
don't
that
actually have a
information.
brother, but
I would never use that information to my advantage. Like, what would be the point? To win.
So what we talked about last time was the same type of thing Sean and I had talked about off the mic. Was that he said, well, what would we do? I said, well, let's just do a 5e game. It's easy enough. We both know the rules really well. We don't have to go through how does this work, so on and so forth. Or I could say, hey, give me a certain check. We roll with advantage. Sean understands what advantage means. And then I said, hey, make 1 or 2 characters. What do you think? He said, I think I'll make 2. And I'd given him the parameters of stick with the core book.
Dude, you said to make up 2.
Well, this is beforehand.
Oh, okay.
And then I said, you could then whatever you want to do. He's like, I think I'll make 2. And I said, yeah, sounds good. Make 2. So when we were on the mics, we said, okay, Sean, make 2. And then Sean hit me with, what book should I use? Like, yeah, it's a good fucking point. There's a number of different.
Well, I was going to make a Goliath barbarian juggernaut. Yeah. Hulkbuster character.
Yes. Who's also half Demo Dad Drow.
Yes.
But we decided to stop that, and we just stuck with the core rule book just for simplicity's sake. Because I don't like some of that. I don't like some of that horrible shit. And then Sean had asked me, he's like, well, what do you have planned? And I said, you know what? I want to prep for this one the same way I would prep for any type of campaign. I'm like, oh, I've got an adventure to run. What am I going to do? The guys are making characters, or in this case, one of my friends is making a character. We have just enough time to run a one shot. What am I going to do? So my prep over since we announced it 2 weeks ago, between then and now, I've been thinking through my head about what would be fun. What type of encounters would be entertaining? Would it be like a 3-room dungeon? Would it be a building? Would it be a hex crawly type of thing? What type of adventure do I want to run? That would be fun for me, and I think Sean would enjoy. So it's all been mental notes. Every once in a while, I would write something down, like longhand on a piece of paper. And then as the day got closer, like today, I'm like, okay, got to run tonight. I have these monsters in my head that I thought would be fun types of encounters. What would be the most fun? What do I really, really want to do? So we sat down. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll see what Sean's made. So he's made a bard, Lard the Bard, and a human, and a dwarven paladin called Dirk Do-Gooder. Awesome. Good names. Consummate professional boy. And I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. We got a human bard and a paladin, dwarven paladin. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. We got a holy thing going on. We got a lore master, entertainer type of person. So then my head went to, well, I should just use the Copper Cup, which is a standard name I've used for fantasy taverns. I'm like, okay, I got it. So on this piece of paper here, I wrote down at the beginning of the show, this is a little scribble up in the corner of an inn, 2-story inn, basement, another little sub thing under the basement. I've got a list of NPC names, who the owner is, who the cook, a bad guy, and a couple question marks around, is this person dead? Or is this person trapped? Is this person a cleric? That type of stuff. And then the other thing I like to do is I went through and I grabbed my monster manual, and I've got a couple different bookmarks in it, like saying, hey, if this comes up and this feels like the right time, I want to know exactly where this creature is, this one, and this one. And creature could be anything from, hey, that has brigands and other things in the back. I want the stats for it because just in case I want to reference it for some reason. Things I think I'm going to want in my quiver. And the other thing I like to have is a player's handbook, because running multiple different games, the character sheet in the back of it, I didn't happen to have a printed out 5e character sheet, but it has the character sheet in the back of it. So when I tell Sean, give me a medicine check, it is not like a doctor check or a health check or something like that. It's called medicine in this game. It's called survival. It's called stealth, perception versus hear noise, and so forth. I just want to try to utilize the same type of things. And I also got in my head, I'm like, you know what? Depending on what we run into, I might need to remember all the conditions. There's conditions of being grappled, blinded, incapacitated, paralyzed, charmed, deafened, and so forth. I'm like, all right, I want to make sure I've got that handy. So I've got that stuff over here on the side. But otherwise, I told Sean, I got my handful of my dice right here on my table. Good enough for me. Sean, being the consummate professional he is, I assume he can roll his own dice, and I can trust what he tells me that he rolls, and we should be fine. So, Sean, that's kind of what I did, just raw prep wise, to make something happen tonight. Was there any, apart from making the characters, was there anything you did?
So I crowdsourced a little bit, and I want to thank everybody that submitted ideas, to include Fripple, Lectus, Fightor from Fighterland, whose parents were killed by orcs. Missed
classic
opportunity on that one, I think. Half orc bard, manager of a dragonborn mercenary, a couple of characters named Hobbs and Edwin, Simgurn and Valina, and then 2 human clerics of Life Domain out to smite heathens. All close runners up. But I streamed Saturday, and Michael O'Holland, Roger, and Radalk were key in helping me choose the characters that I will be portraying this evening in this short adventure. Yes. So
awesome. You ready, man?
I am ready. I think I am ready. Sure.
Got your character sheets. You're good.
I do have my character sheets. I have them on D&D Beyond.
Excuse me. Oh, do you? Okay.
And I'll be rolling from there. The folks that can watch this video will be there and see the rolls, but we'll mention what the results are, obviously, for those. I guess
I'll need to know.
You will need to know, because you cannot see my D&D Beyond.
All right. So when I start off a new game like this, one of the first thing, even if it's just a little brief one shot, I'm like, okay, so I've got a bard, Lard the Bard, and Dirk Do-Gooder, the Dwarven Paladin. So Sean, tell me about the Paladin. What is what type of god does he worship? Is he that Judge Dredd type of Paladin? Is he a Batman type of Paladin? Is he Captain America? What do you how do you see him? How does he exhibit his paladinness?
Well, that's a good question, Brett. I would say that Dirk Do-Gooder, he is his background, I believe I picked. Where did I pick his background? Oh, folk hero. He's a folk hero. Yeah,
okay.
So comes from the ranks of the common folk, then fit in among them with ease. So I see him as kind of a simple guy, kind of probably not realizing that
he's not the knight in shining armor, but he's still going to do the right thing.
I don't think he understands his role in the greater world of things. I think he finds himself as kind of a simple guy that still can hold his own and has a kind of a faith that's kind of personal to him.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. So the bard, the human bard, Lard the Bard.
And we should probably stipulate Dirk Do-Gooder is a dwarf.
Yes. Yep.
Dirk Do-Gooder, the dwarf.
Yes. The triple D. Yes.
Triple D, as he's affectionately known. Yeah.
So Lard the Bard, what's he like? He's a human.
He is a human. Lard the Bard, he's kind of a grifter.
Okay.
He carries a deck of cards with him, shuffles them around, and sometimes he'll do the shell game,
Oh, a little 3-card Monty, all that stuff.
Yeah. Little wheeler and a dealer.
So how the heck did a grifter get hooked up with a paladin? Why are these two guys together?
Well, see, I think Dirk Do-Gooder or 2D or maybe 3D, if you want to call him 3D.
All right.
He's kind of naive to the bigger world. So if he finds himself like in an urban landscape, that would be Lard the Bard and his kind of domain. Because Lard is a bit of a charlatan, is what his background is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I asked that question not only just because, one, it's interesting. I want to see if Sean actually came up with anything, but two, I took notes on that. So on my little note, the biggest, most important thing from the Paladin for me was I wrote naive and then unassuming. That was just how I took him to be. And unassuming to me and naive, when he walks into wherever I'm going to have these guys walk into, the patrons don't turn and go, oh, it's a Paladin, right? He melds, he blends. He doesn't have that glowing type of thing that some folks when they play Paladins like to do. And knowing that I've got a grifter and a bit of a charlatan, I have 3CM, 3-card Monty, little acronym here on the side. I'm like, okay, so interesting. And the fact that one of them is naive indicates that he probably, to me anyway, when I say something, if I'm going to try to give a little narrative or anything along those lines, I want to be able to play towards those things, either as the NPCs are talking to him or if I think Sean needs help. Like, what would my character do in this situation? The more I know about the character, the more I can poke him potentially in the right direction. So that's why I asked those questions. All right, cool. Anything else you need to know, Sean, up front? Otherwise, you good?
I think I'm good so far.
All right, man. So it is late winter, early spring. You guys are on the road. You've got a job in Lone Pine. And Lone Pine it's not that far away from Newmark, the city you were just leaving, but it's far enough that you know you're going to have to stop at the Copper Cup. It's an inn between the two places. Pretty popular place for the overnight. If you guys had horses or a wagon, you could push it and maybe make the whole journey from Newmark to Lone Pine in a day, rolling in there. But you're on foot. You just don't have enough coin yet to get to Lone Pine. So, you're going to have to overnight at the Copper Cup. It's just not safe to be wandering around in the dark for quite that long. The reason you guys are heading over to Lone Pine is there's two things going on there. Number one is that there's some mercenary work that Lard the Bard has heard about. There's potential there that you guys could get some wagon guarding, that type of mercenary work, guards for hire, stuff like that. Coin to be made. You guys aren't the richest of folks right now. And the other reason is this is the one most likely, I would assume, that Lard probably told Dirk about this, or Dirk told Lard, of that there is a small contingent of dwarves in Lone Pine, and this group of dwarves is in need of some assistance. They've apparently got a problem of some sort, and they're looking for some help. And of course, they've put up a sizable reward, at least according to rumors, of something you guys could get at.
Sounds good.
So for all intents and purposes, I just made all that shit up. 100%. I've used Newmark as a city I've used multiple times in many campaigns. Lone Pine is, I use that name specifically as a little town outside of something else. Lone indicating that it's lonely, and Pine, woods, forest. So people usually get a vision in their head of what that looks like just because those two words, not like they're overly evocative, but that's what I do. Because the adventure itself is going to take place between the two locations at the Copper Cup. I wanted to give them a reason to be traveling from point A to point B. So because I know Sean is going with this, I don't have to give him a rock solid, like you're going to get 20 gold pieces per day if you go there and help the dwarves, or 16 gems if you become a mercenary captain or something along those lines. I could just tell him what he's going there to do, and my assumption is then Sean can role play that through any other encounters he has. So that's why I brought those pieces out. All right, Sean. So as you guys are cruising along, I shouldn't say cruising along, walking along, it's gone from a march to a walk to a slog, a sloshy, muddy, nasty slog. Just as it's starting to get on to dinner time, the clouds have opened up. They've rolled in. You've heard the thunder, seen the lightning. It starts off as the pitter patter, the light spring rain, that late winter rain. And then from there, it turns into a good old fashioned Wisconsin sleet fest, right? Where it's coming down nasty. It hits you and everything's starting to freeze. So the the bard, he's gonna the cloak and everything's gonna be crusted over with ice. The dwarf's gonna have like icicles hanging in his beard, and after a while, walking is just annoying. It's a crunch, just one wet boot through this frozen mud after another. Flash of lightning, and in the distance, off the right hand side, you see the Copper Cup. It's a small 2-story. When I say small, it's kind of a little cracker box style, right? It's just a little square building, goes 2 stories high. It has a small stable. The lights are on inside. The shutters are drawn, keeping out the rain and stuff. And you can see in the last lightning stroke the smoke rising from the chimney and so on. And little Copper Cup placard is out there hanging in the wind and getting the shit beat out of it by the rest of the sleet and hail as it goes. So, anything you want to do before you head in, or you just go straight in?
Go straight to the Copper Cup, man. I want to get out of this crappy weather.
All right. You guys open the door. Just walk in. Anything you want to do? Any particular way you wish to enter?
Not blowing the door open, just entering normally, nonchalantly. I would say that Lard, the bard, is probably leading the way because he's got a little more confidence than Dirk.
So does he play, what kind of instrument does he play? Or is he just a singer? A lute?
Yes.
Okay. So I'd assume he had his lute stowed under the old cloak and such on the way here, because otherwise it'd be frozen.
Yes.
Okay.
Puts it in a leather wrapping of a case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So Lard opens the door. He walks in. Dirk will no doubt shuffle in behind him. The heat from inside is super pleasant, right? It hits you, and you can feel the dripping from the beard, from the clothes, everything else. Like, okay, this is good. It's nice. It's not a big place, as I said. A little small cracker box type of building, a little square. You see, the guy Haleth is the owner. You see him. He's pretty well known as the owner of the Copper Cup. Runs a pretty good ship. People are happy to see him. Pretty standard jovial medieval tavern owner that you would see in fantasy stories, right? He sees you, hails you, shut the door, it's cold out there. Oh, come in, warm yourselves, get down by the fire, I'll send someone down with drinks and food. Just sit. Kind of ushers you guys right over there.
Yeah, shut the door and make our way towards the fire.
Plenty of different eyes on you, just the locals, the patrons, or whomever's just kind of staring at you. Who are you? Do they know you? And so forth. You checking anybody out, or just kind of keeping to yourself?
Keep to myself. Dirk nods to acknowledge anybody that's kind of staring at him. He kind of just nods at him and minds his own business. Meanwhile, Lard is probably taking a little bit more in, like, I wonder what their story is, kind of got a little bit more of an attitude with him, but doesn't go out of his way to ruffle any feathers necessarily. If somebody catches his eye that's a little bit more disgruntled than others, he'll call him out and say, "Hey, good evening."
I see.
Yeah.
Give me a perception check then. Let me know what you get.
From Lard the Bard?
Yeah, Lard the Bard. See what he's got.
I got a 20.
Holy crap.
Modified 20. Yeah.
Not that, natural 20 doesn't really do anything
but still. Yeah.
For skill checks, but okay. So Dirk has gone through, kind of nodded at people and so forth. There's a couple, look like your standard farmer type, husband, wife. They've got a younger child with them and a couple smaller kids. They're sitting down close to the fire, and the youngest child, the little girl, is like staring at Dirk, and she seems really, really just enthralled by the fact that he's a dwarf. Then when he gives her the "Hey, how you doing, little thing?" type of nod, she kind of squeals and hides behind her mom, and her mom looks at you and says, "I'm sorry, don't pay any attention." She doesn't see a lot of outsiders and dwarves. She just doesn't see a lot of dwarves. No offense. No offense.
None taken. I just am a little shorter than most people, but I mean no harm to anyone. You're okay, little one. Nothing. I'm in no trouble. I mean no harm.
Awesome. So one of the people, However, as Lard the Bard is looking across the room, kind of eyeball and so forth, there's a gentleman in the corner eating soup, very much keeping to himself, and it is a classic. I'm a dark, mysterious stranger in the corner, keeping to myself, very, very obviously so. There is a brief flick of the eyes up from the hood to see you. It's a narrow, kind of a rat-faced individual, thin, patchy beard, and a definitive scar on the left, the right side of the face.
How far away is he from Lard?
You'd have to walk across the room. He figures about maybe 10 feet. You could kind of make your way around the room and not make it too obvious if that's what you're trying to do.
Keep an eye on him. Is he? Do I find him suspicious or just kind of a loner?
He's either. It's suspicious insofar as that the warmest place is where everybody else is. He's away from the fire. He's not as close to it as everybody else. So the fact that he's purposely staying away from people seems odd to you, especially in a cold, wet, terrible night like this.
Okay. So me as the player giving Brett bringing that up to me, I figured there's probably something to do with this guy. I mean, I could, as Lard, probably maybe befriend the little children and play some tricks with them, but this guy in the corner has me intrigued. So I think I'm going to go see what's up with that guy.
Awesome.
I'm going to go, I'll just look around and I take off my coat and lay some of my gear down by Dirk, and I say, hey buddy, make sure you watch my stuff. As Dirk just kind of nods at him, and then Lard takes out his loot, kind of starts unwrapping it. Kind of then, once it's unwrapped, he folds up the leather wrapping and sticks it back in his packs. He grabs his loot. He just kind of
starts tuning,
strums it a little bit, tunes it a little bit, starts walking around the tavern, and then probably makes his way over there as he looks at a few people as he's tuning, and just seeing, kind of being nonchalant, but knowing he's starting to get the notice, and then makes his way over by the guy and says, hey, you seem alone. Could probably use a little, I don't know, maybe a little song, hey?
Nice. Very nice.
If the warmth of the hearth isn't going to warm your bones, maybe the soup and maybe a friendly tune. What do you say, friend?
Nice. So what I did was when Sean came in, he talked about how he wanted to walk into the bar with Lard up front. God, that's loud, dude.
Sorry.
So we wanted to have Lard up front and Dirk being naive and a little more not passive, but just blending in. I asked him what he wanted to do as he saw people looking at him and so forth, and the fact that Dirk kind of was just like, hey, nod, smile, but Lard was looking for something a little bit more. That's why I had him roll perception. All I wanted to do was to have him give me a number somewhere from 10 and up. If he'd have rolled under 10, he would have not noticed anything. By rolling an unmodified 20, I decided that he would definitely see the most interesting looking person is there, and that everything else is very uninteresting or very, very blah. He would not have not have been like, caught up in something else or whatever the case was. It's an opportunity when a character walks into a bar like that or any kind of social situation. I want them to interact and be aware of the people without me having to force people on them. What are you doing as you go? Are you looking at people? Leading question, and then roll the dice. Based on that, give them a bunch of information. So you talked to, you mentioned to the whole song bit and are you lonely? Come hang out, or whatnot. The guy looks up at you and smiles. He's got kind of a wicked looking smile, kind of like like his mouth has been cut open with a razor blade type of face, And he says, like, look, friend, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I'm over here for a reason. You just go back over there and play the locals.
problem, friend. I will. Sounds good. Don't mean to intrude.
As you walk away, he does it very advertently. Moves his coin purse. Like he is making a very obvious show that he thought or thinks that you might be some kind of a thief. You were positive, again, based on an earlier roll, that was done specifically to insult you.
Friend, I am a musician, thespian. I do not need your money. If I needed your money, I would challenge you to a game of cards or something along those lines.
A few people are starting to call out for different local favorites, you know.
Excellent. Yes, of course. I think I know that one. You over in the corner. Sure. Let me think. So it goes something like this. I believe so.
Very nice.
I tell you about a story about a dwarf named Dirk.
That's probably the point when I could see Dirk's face getting like really red, but his head down. Oh God, I hate this one. I hate
Yeah,
this
pretty
one.
much. Yeah,
This isn't my bag. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. So at this point, you're going to be entertaining people, playing music, and so forth. What's Dirk up to? Is he just kind of sitting back watching?
Yeah, I think he's just kind of taking it all in and trying to mind his own business with his obnoxious sidekick trying to take over the room. So he tries to get the attention of a server to maybe get some food.
Okay. One of the serving kids comes over. It's Hal's son, and plumps down a nice beer in front of you, some warm bread, butter, some stew. Says, you know, this is what we have this evening. Hope it serves you well. Anything else you need? Room for the night?
Oh, that would be. She's asking Dirk. Oh, that would be great.
Yep.
Yes, a room. It's too cold to stay outside, so room would do well.
Okay, the young boy says, "Yep, we've got a spare place just upstairs. The other places are full, so it'll be you. You'll have to bunk with your friend, but I think it'll be cozy but comfortable."
Oh, it's fine. Thank you very much.
Dirk, as the serving boy is walking away, you hear the little girl. She's complaining and whining and doesn't want to eat, and her mom is like, "You need to eat that. You need to eat that. Come on now." And her dad's getting annoyed, and the older brother is getting kind of like, "Oh, for God's sakes, every night." You distinctly hear her say, "I don't want to eat the fingers." And the mom says, "Hush! Stop being silly. Stop. There's no nonsense. No nonsense, Tom. You promise, no nonsense. Just eat your soup." And she just looks forlorn and just kind of slopping at it with her spoon, just kind of sipping the broth and looking upset.
Oh, you little one. You talking about fingers? The little wieners, like hot dogs? Sausages?
No. She puts her spoon in and picks up, and it looks like a human finger.
Whoa!
And she says this, and her mom shrieks. And she goes, she screams, slaps the spoon out of her daughter's hand. This finger goes flying over towards the fire, flop, like sounds like a hot dog hitting the hardwood floor, right? She shrieks. That's going to cut your music short for Lard. And the girl just looks up at her mom and said, "I told you." Her dad pounds the table. Wham! "Haleth, get out here! What the hell are you doing back there?" Haleth comes out from behind the bar. I'm sorry. What's going on? What's going on? Dirk?
Yeah, Dirk stands up, like he jumps back and pushes himself away from the table. Says, "Hey, what are you trying to serve here? There's a finger in that soup."
Where? There's nothing there. Haleth is like stirring the soup. Like, look, it's fine.
Is it fine?
Oh, the finger's over by the fireplace.
I go over to grab the finger.
Okay, go down, pick it up.
Yeah, I said, "Look at this thing. Does this look like a carrot?"
His eyes get wide, and his mouth just starts to clap. I have no idea how that got there. Oh good lord! Corellin, damn you! Get out here, man!
Get that guy out there. Hopefully he's part of the health inspector.
So, Lard, give me a perception check. You sneaky little bugger.
Perception. Where are you, Lard? I rolled a 4.
Ah, very good. You, in the middle of the uproar, kind of like, ooh, I wonder what, and you look over the corner and the guy's gone. Everybody's milling around and things are moving, but that cloaked, rat-faced, knife scarred looking dude is not in the corner anymore. And after that, though, everything comes, Corellin the cook comes rolling out from behind, tall guy, and he just looks like, what the hell? I don't understand. What's going on? Who's yelling at what? So before I go any further, I had this idea in my head earlier on that I'm like, I want some kind of a crazy incident, something that would get people's attention right away. I have done a lot of different, like a siege of an inn where you're there and some outside force tries to come in and apply pressure. What's happening here is that there's an inside force applying external pressure, and people are going to want to either flee, solve the problem, or figure out what's going on. And sometimes having the child like sick and die is something I've done before, because usually depending who's playing with me, I can you can endanger a kid and they may be like, oh gosh, we have to save the children. And sometimes people don't tolerate that at all. I've played Bashan for a number of years now, so I know I could probably go further in some directions, whatever, but I'm like, I don't need to kill the kid to drive home what I'm thinking about doing. So what I wanted to do is just have something crazy, but obviously needs to be addressed. It's not like this tastes funny or something weird like that. It's a very obviously bad, evil thing to have a person's finger in your soup. So I figured that would get Sean's attention. All right. So Corellin comes boiling out from, as I said, from the kitchen. And he's like, I don't understand what's going on, so on and so forth. Haleth has this dismembered finger, and he's waving it under Corellin's nose, like, you show me your hands, damn you. Show me your hands. He's like, I've all my fingers. I have all my fingers. I have no idea what that's from. So there's a lot of very disorganized yelling, blustering. The father is threatening to kill somebody. The mother is screaming. The daughter, just as the daughter's like, I told you this. She kind of has that child's innocence. Like, I told you I didn't want to eat it. And there were fingers in it. And, but the rest of the folks within the inn are in that. It's very chaotic right now. Somebody needs to do something if there's going to be any kind of order figured out here. Dirk, what do you want to do?
Lord, you got to do something. It's about to get out of control. Play something, whatever. I suppose I could whip up something, perhaps. And so he tries to, Lard starts strumming the lute again, and Dirk says, maybe settle down, everybody, and nothing to be alarmed about. Maybe it's just a mistake, and perhaps my friend can play a tune for you. We'll pick up where we left off. Lard.
Is Dirk trying to have a commanding presence here, or is he just trying to kind of...
He's trying as best as he can, being the...
Is he a little charisma play here? Is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah, he's probably trying to persuade him to... All
right. So before Sean gives me the persuasion check, the reason I asked that is because he said Dirk is naive and Dirk is also very unassuming. So if he's trying to do something, it makes sense to me that one, he went to Lard to try to get a little background music to draw attention to the pair, draw some attention off of the paladin because he's a naive, unassuming guy. But yet, if the dwarf is trying to get people to listen to him, I was curious as to how he wanted to do it. Did he want to do it like a persuasion, or was he going to do some sort of a booming intimidation, right, where he wanted to drive people towards something? So that's why I'd asked. All right, Sean, so give me a
15.
persuasion check. Nice. All right, so the group starts to calm down. Even a moderately nervous dwarf, when he or she chooses to speak up, they're fairly loud, right? So like, okay, calm down, everything you just said. Lard starts a little background music, I'm assuming, as you indicated.
Lard picks a tune that he knows that Dirk will know. Dirk hums it every once in a while, and he's always never wanting to like really crank out into song. But Lard knows, like, kind of, he's like, oh, that's got a kind of catchy rhythm to it. And he starts playing that, and he kind of pokes at Dirk a little bit and says, come on, I know you know it. Come on, I know you know it.
Try to get him to pick a theme song.
Yeah, and Dirk's kind of like, and he starts to maybe sing his own little personal tune. Because Dirk's got a little performance in him.
All right. People start calming down. Haleth and Corellin have come to the agreement that there's something obviously has gone on in the kitchen. They don't know what it is, but by God, they're going to go figure it out. Everybody, please stay calm. Haleth has called his son Quinn over, the younger boy who was helping you out. He's called Quinn over, and between he, Corellin, and Quinn, they're checking everybody's food that's out there right now. They're going through actively, dumping stew out, checking for body parts and so forth. Let's see here. Dirk and Lard, give me perception checks, the pair of ya.
Dirk rolls a 16, and Lard rolled a 16 as well.
I had the roll is because, of course, there's something going on, but there's enough activity happening between Haleth, Quinn, and Corellin roaming around the inn, doing stuff, talking to people, a lot of kind of a little bit of a huckabuck going on here. Plus, Lard and Dirk are kind of half performing, half watching. I felt this wasn't a gimme. I wanted to make sure I had to take a check here. So during all of this confusion and so forth, you guys see the kitchen door shut. As far as you know, there's no one else back there because Corellin, the cook, is out here. You don't believe anybody else would be back there. You didn't see anybody go through, but definitely somebody or something has pulled that door shut. And you can no longer see into the kitchen.
Okay, both of them notice that?
Yep, they both see that. It's kind of like one sees it, the other sees it. They do the eye look. Oh, yeah, you saw that? I saw that too.
All right. So, as Lard is strumming away, Dirk said he incorporates it into the song that he's singing. Kind of like, hey, he's kind of singing about, his village and I don't know, some person that he admired from his village who was supposed to, or was known to take off from the village and traveled under a mountain and killed a huge troll and came back and was this famous person. And as he's singing that, he's like, old Clegane, he was a good man. He came back and slayed that troll. But somebody like you should get back in the kitchen to cook us some really warm food.
Nice.
Yes, so I'm talking to you. What is your name, Mr. Chef?
All right. So you try to persuade through song to get people to go back there and take a look at it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try it now. At this point, Dirk's like, okay, I think everybody's okay. Just calm down. Maybe get back into the kitchen and cook some food for some of the people out here, like myself. I could probably get some more. If you put food in their pie holes, maybe all this will shut them all up.
All right. So as a game master, I have no idea why the fuck Sean thinks this is hilarious. No, I'm kidding. So a little poke at Sean. So I did not know how Sean was going to play the bard. What he's doing now is one of the things that I usually have in my back pocket. What can I do if the players don't take action when I think they should. I've run this type of encounter before, and normally what happens, especially if you have two characters, one character stays out here to keep an eye on everybody, and the player will send back, or one of the other players will send their character into the kitchen without an NPC. Sean apparently is trying to get the NPCs to do his dirty work for him and have them go back and check it out. So in order to kick the things up a notch, I got to do something to get Sean more active, because from my perspective, I'm like, he's not doing anything. He's doing some stuff, but he seems more passive than I think maybe he wants to be, or he's not interested in it, or I'm hoping he could be a little bit more active. So I'm thinking maybe he's bored. So in order to kick it up a notch, I do this. All right. So Corellin hears you guys talk. Is all right. I'm going to head back to the kitchen. Let's go back there. Marith, let's go take a look in the kitchen. I can prove to you everything's fine. He points at the father, like, you can come with me too if you want to. And he's like, well, I don't know. It's not really. So there's a small crowd of people with Marith and Corellin and Haleth heading towards the kitchen. They're going to check things out back there. There is a god-awful scream from upstairs where the rooms are. There's a shriek from up there. There's a thump, a bang. It sounds like somebody took a chest of drawers and smashed it to the floor. And then there's a crashing in the hallway. And then thump, bam, boom, thud. A bloody body comes banging down the stairs and just lands in a heap. The screams start again. People panic. Corellin's like, that's not my fault. The cook is pointing at that, just immediately trying to exonerate himself. He runs back to the kitchen. He flings the door open and goes back to the kitchen, apparently thinking it's the safest place. Haleth doesn't know what to do. He's beside himself. His son, Quinn, runs over to the body. And Lard, give me a perception check, please.
I rolled a 9.
Definitely, yep. That's the guy. That's the rat-faced, knife-scarred man, and that's his corpse, or what looks like a corpse, crumpled up in a heap at the base of the stairs. The young boy Quinn runs over, touches him, and goes, "Oh my God, he's covered in blood!" and backs off in fear. The rest of the inn is now crowding towards the fireplace in the center.
Dirk runs over to the body that's come down the stairs.
He's got to either walk around Quinn or move Quinn. The boy is frozen.
Step aside, boy.
Okay.
I actually pick him up. How big a boy is he?
He's not very big. Yeah. He's a small kid. He's taller than the dwarf, but he's skinny.
Oh, okay. Well, I pick him up and move him over. Yeah, Get out of the way, boy.
He's got that I've never seen a mutilated corpse face before, which is probably a good.
Where is this boy's parents?
That's
Step aside, boy.
Gatekeeper. All right. So there's the guy.
I want to do a medicine check on him, and I want to see if he's got wounds, if he's breathing, is he alive? Back up, give me some air.
Okay, give me a medicine check.
All right. 23.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. He's a really raspy, rattly breath. He does not have long for this world type of thing. Last gasp type of deal.
I'm going to lay on hands.
Do you want to try to stabilize him?
It is not your time.
Oh, are you? Okay.
It's not your time. I must talk to you. You must live.
Okay.
On behalf of Cutbirth.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
5 hit points?
How much healing? Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to get him stable, and he's unconscious at this point, but he appears to stop bleeding. Well, you're looking him over, checking with the medicine check. Not only was he like on this last gasp, raspy breath, and so forth, but he is covered in tears, punctures, and so forth. Something has ripped him up. if you were to attack a person, like a cat, a very large cat were to attack him, that's the type of damage you would assume to see. Like if he cornered a leopard and the leopard decided to kick the shit out of him, that's what you would expect him to look like. His clothes are ripped. There's chunks of flesh. You knitted it enough. He's gonna have some nasty looking scars by the time he's done. And he's got a couple more fresh ones on his face to go with the original scar he had, but he looks rough, and his left eye is missing now.
Where did you go from here into a lion's cage?
The boy says his room's upstairs.
Whose room?
His
room. Who's his?
His, the man's room. He rented it from father. It's upstairs.
What did he do to you?
Nothing. The man isn't talking to you. This is Quinn, the little boy. Little boy's talking to you.
Little boy.
Yeah, Quinn's telling you that this guy, this beat up man, his room is upstairs. Man's unconscious yet. He's not talking.
I see. How do you know this boy?
Well, I took him to his room. First on the left.
What's he look like?
He's right there. What do you mean? What's he look like?
This man.
Yes, this is his room's upstairs.
Oh, I see.
He fell down the stairs.
Boy, you watch this man, and if he comes conscious, you must come and get me. You understand?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Dirk looks over at Lard and kind of tries to get his attention and bring him over.
Okay.
It's like, hey, what's up, buddy? It's like, this guy had a room upstairs. We should probably look into this. Look at his body. Look like he's been mauled by a cat. A huge tiger, maybe a liger even.
A liger. You heading upstairs then?
Yeah.
All right. The blood trail where he smashed and just bled and drug his body down the stairs, how he fell and splattered and stuff. It's pretty obvious to, track the blood trail up the stairs. Exactly as the young boy Quinn said, this guy's room is the top door on the left. The door's kicked in, or at least yanked in drastically. Inside his room is just a shambles. Now, where his room is, there is a piece of the chimney to the larger fireplace that comes up just inside of his room. And you can see from that, there are a number of stones that are like pushed out. Like so if the chimney is here, right, things have fallen into the room. Nothing fell into the chimney. Pieces of the chimney have fallen in. You do not need a survival check at all to note this, but you can see human-sized barefoot prints and claw-like hands and these hooked claws on the ends of the toes. Something came out of the chimney and into this room. And then you can see where the fracas started. It's very obvious where it as soon as whatever happened with the chimney happened near the bed, great big fight. Something happened. There's a lot of blood, but somehow this weird rat-faced dude made his way out and fell down the stairs.
I'll pull out my sword.
Very nice.
And I look around, look up at the ceiling. And then now does the blood trail go out and then follow the guy that went down the stairs, or does it go somewhere else?
So it looks like there's two different blood trails. One of them goes out where the NPC, right, the rat-faced guy, went, fought his way out of the room, fell down the stairs, landed in the heap at the bottom. There's a smaller bit of blood that leads back to the hole in the chimney.
How big's the hole?
The hole is big enough that Lard could squeeze through it. A skinny person could get in and out.
So
it wouldn't be comfortable.
I take my sword and I take it and I put it in the hole and scoop it up. And then as it goes up, if it doesn't hit anything, I poke my head in there.
Okay. Stick the blade up to make sure that there's no nasty surprise for you.
That's right.
Okay. Then you poke in, look down, or you look up?
I look up.
Okay. You poke it and you look up.
Yeah, smoke. Yeah.
Nasty bad. Embers and whatnot floating up. You don't see anything. You can just barely see the starlit sky above you, or lightning and stuff flashing in the outside, but there's not much else.
Then I say, Lord, we must get outside. It may have escaped. And then he runs out the door,
Okay.
down the stairs, and out of the end and into the street.
As you're running by, little kid Quinn is like, "Sir, he's awake, Mr. Dwarf, he's awake.
Ah, crap, of course. Shh. Son, keep him comfortable. I'll be right back. And I run out into the street.
Okay. You bust out back into the entryway, back outside. It's still really shitty. That rain, sleet crap. What are you doing?
I try to look around at the rooftop to see of the copper cup to see if there's anything there or along the building rooftops. And I go maybe around to the back of the copper cup if I can.
Yep.
And if it's really shitty out, I'm like maybe trying to see if there's any tracks I can find that's fresh and maybe not of humankind.
Okay. Give me a survival check while you're outside.
All right. Oh my God. Dirk has a 4 skill in survival. Rolling a 1 gives him a 5.
Not bad. So from a game master perspective, most of the action is inside the inn. So for me, one of the dangers, quote unquote, right, is the player decides to go outside the inn and roam around a lot. So depending what happens here is then I usually institute, like there's a Dorothy door, a little outside root cellar that goes underneath the inn to a basement or something along those lines, something that would drive him back into the building because that's where I want him. Or the other thing is that I could have a creature on the outside coming back inside and so on and so forth. But I'm not implementing any of that right now because Sean rolled for shit. And it's my experience tells me the highest potential is that when I say there's nothing to be found out here, that he's looked around, sees no tracks, it's too shitty outside, he'll probably go back inside. And if nothing else, that's where the other character is, who's probably going to go back inside, check. You're going to make sure that other character stays there by ensuring that other things happen. So Dirk, you've run outside, you've looked around. It's super shitty outside, right? With the rain and the slush and the mud and the freezing and whatever. As you roam around the back, you can see tracks of people, animals, and so forth, but nothing that looks like those blackened soot prints from inside. You don't see anything like that here.
All right, then I go back inside to check on the rat face man.
All right. Lard, what is he doing? Is he still up in the room?
He's probably, well, assuming nothing's happened while he's in the room. He actually, while he's doing, as Dirk is like run out, he looks around the room probably a little more intensely to see like, just maybe kind of looking and investigating.
What's he trying? Is he trying to find like who the man is? Is he like, is he flipping the bed over, looking through clothes?
Well, he'll open the, I don't know, closet. Maybe if there's a trunk in there, he'll flip it open. It flips open somehow, and he takes a gander in there, like, huh, that's weird. What's that? He's got his loot on his back now, and he's kind of just, probably goes over to the nightstand and looks and sees if there's any possessions there. Maybe opens a drawer, seeing if there's anything, a trace from the guy that inhabited this room.
So the rat face guy had his saddlebags here, backpack, and a few other personal belongings.
I hit those up like, saddlebags.
Yep. Within the saddlebags is an oilskin packet that has some vellum scrolls and things within it. That seems to be the most interesting thing. The rest of it, there's a pouch with some coins, a few gold, some silver. He's got a couple extra daggers, but nothing super interesting other than those that oilskin pouch.
All right. I check the skin pouch then a little more intensely.
Okay. Excuse me. So, game master perspective, well, Sean decided he wanted to search through the room. I want it to be valuable to him. And I also have some thoughts in my head about who this person is, what they're here for, this rat face person. So it makes sense that if he's explaining what he's doing, he's got time. I don't need him to roll a perception check. He's telling me what he's looking through, what he's trying to find. He's, quote unquote, inadvertently opening things. So yeah, he's going to stumble upon this. It isn't well hidden. And the rat-faced man had no intention of anybody else invading his room. So it wasn't like he was securing it somewhere. So you're going to open a little skin packet, take a look at what's in there.
Yeah.
Okay. There are a series of letters in there. They're just kind of rolled up, scroll like, and they all have the seals, the little wax seal on them broken. It's a black wax seal with a hand, a left hand, and the seal has been broken. I assume you read them or at least peruse them quickly.
Do I recognize the black seal?
Let me see here. That's a good question. Would you or would you not? Give me let's do an insight check. It's a wisdom.
16.
Don't need a lot. Very good. Yes. It is the symbol of the Black Hand, which is an assassin's guild from Newmark.
Have I ever... How well do I know the Black Hand? Do I just know of them, or do I
you know of them? They're very, very dangerous. Obviously, they're assassins. They're paid to kill people. They're not good. They're not nice. Their reputation is like my reputation precedes me type of thing, right? If they take a job, always fulfilled, so on and so forth. They're known for being sly, secretive, and not splashy, right? So if someone hires them to kill somebody, there's not going to be like, the explosion. It's going to be a quiet night of eating, drinking, poisoning, falling, and then not waking up type of thing.
Knowing that that's part of the Black Hand, I quickly look at the documentation.
There is they're all from Corellin. He has written these notes to the Black Hand. Corellin is the cook. He has written to them, explaining that that Haleth knows more than he says. I'm certain what you're looking for is here. Come quickly. I don't know how much longer I have.
Okay.
So as a DM note, I made that up right now. I just wanted something interesting to implicate. I knew offhand that there's one of the NPCs is going to need to be implicated in the thing that's going on. I wasn't sure whom, how, or why, but it made sense based on the accusations and the quasi-tight, or excuse me, the tense relationship between Haleth and Corellin. I figured, what the hell, those guys will implicate. One will implicate the other this way. All right, what do you do now?
I try to put it back the way it was to some degree, and
Actually, done.
Actually, pocket it.
Okay. Put the whole oilskin thing, slide it in.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a handful of notes. That's the gist of it. You just read through each of them like, hey, I've got something. We need you, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Put those aside.
Now, I should also say, with your role on what the Black Hand is, the fact that these were sent with the Black Hand seal would indicate that Corellin is a member of the Black Hand. The cook is a member.
I see.
Because otherwise he would never have used that seal.
Dirty bugger.
Yeah, potentially.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So Dirk, you've come back, and the guy's awake. So Quinn looks at you and says, "Mr. Man here, he's awake." The rat-faced guy looks at you and did you do this?
I Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You
Thank
all
you,
right?
dwarf.
How you feeling? You know, I took a nasty bump down the stairs, a little trip, and knocked your head. Had a big old goose egg on there. How you feel?
Those you better now that thing's not on top of me. I think it went down the chimney.
What is it? What was it?
I don't know. The bricks fell out, and this weird being. It was like black smoke and claws and teeth. It came out at me. It attacked me. I barely escaped.
Aye, you almost died. What's your name, friend?
0.
0.
Yeah.
As in null.
Yes.
It's an interesting name. Where you hail from?
Newmark.
I see. What brings you
I don't
here?
know
to
if.
Copper Cup?
Oh, I've got business here. I don't know if you're. He starts looking around, like kind of over your shoulder, scanning the room.
It's just between you and I.
I think Haleth did this.
Haleth?
Yeah.
The freaking guy over there.
Yeah.
The owner of the tavern.
Yeah.
What makes you say that, friend?
I got my reasons. I know stuff.
What did you say your name was?
0.
0.
Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him.
Oh. I'll keep my eye on him. All right, here. Can I help you up?
Yeah. You get him up, put him in a chair somewhere, get him comfy.
Yeah, we'll sit over here. You know, earlier we got off to a rough start, my friend.
That happens. It's all right.
My name is Dirk. Dirk Do-Gooder.
You seem like the type.
I'm a dwarf. I hail from the hills.
I could tell.
Aye.
When Lard is done, is he coming down the stairs?
He does.
Okay.
Yeah, if he realizes the rest is just kind of meaningless bullshit, he tries to put it back the way he found it to some degree and not make it look like somebody rummaged through his place. And even if it does, somebody went after that guy, so he'll come back down. And
Okay.
once he realizes like what's going on, Dirk will wave him over at some point.
Okay. The talk within the common room now is that, okay, so Haleth and Corellin went in the back. They both came out at some point and told everybody else in the inn some kind of a story about it was a mistake. It was from the butchers. The finger is gone. And it wasn't really a finger. It was just a bone. It was this, it was that. They're kind of playing the whole thing off. There's a whole lot of it's okay.
Both of those guys?
Placating. Yeah, they came back out and everything seemed fine. Everyone's okay. You're fine. We're all fine. How are you? It's just all going well now. The little girl insisted it was a finger. Her mother's like, shush, 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 shush. You just got everybody all worked up about nothing. There was no finger there. It was just hush, 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 hush.
If Lard hears, is Lard down yet or no?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Lard's come down. That's what he's walking into. He hears that, and then he sees Dirk talking to the to 0.
As Lard hears the little girl or something, he goes over and says, "I believe you. Shh, our secret."
She does a shh, winks at you.
All right,
Okay.
but the soup is okay. It's a fluke. Do you know what a fluke is, little one?
Yeah, they get in your liver.
No, not that. What books do you read, little one? You need to stay.
I'm a farm kid. I know what a liver fluke is. Come on, this happens.
It's a mistake. It was an accident.
She understands.
Yeah. Make sure you eat your victuals now. Don't let this scar you.
All right.
All right. Excellent. Now I must tend to my friend. See what happened.
All right.
Behave now.
She promises.
All right. So he goes over to Dirk.
Yep.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? Hi, I met this. This is 0. We might have seen him earlier. He's like, we didn't get off. He goes, yeah, we didn't get off to a good start. Got my characters mixed up for a second.
0's looking at both of you, and he said, "Look, I don't know what your deal is and all of this, but something's going on." He says, "I don't trust Haleth."
Alex, yeah. The tavern owner? Dirk says,
Yeah.
aye, tavern owner.
Yeah.
Well, we should be like food inspectors, maybe.
Zero was like, I'm in no shape to go back there. If you guys want to go back and check, I go for it. I can't trust him.
Why did they come for you?
I don't know.
Come on, buddy. Everybody's got a story. He steps up, stands up, looks around the room and says, everybody has a story.
It might be
What's your
because
story, my friend? What's your story? Starts pointing at people.
All right. Zero's like, look, I'm here on business, and I can't divulge why I'm here. What I can tell you though is Haleth can't be trusted. I don't know what else I can do.
Yeah. They don't call him Dirk Do-Gooder for nothing. And he probably would be willing to help you, the naive bastard. Dirk looks at him with...
Like, what? What does that mean?
He says, but you gotta know what's going on here, buddy, to help you out. We're not... Hey. Come on. You could trust us. Dirk saved your life.
All right, well, get me up to my room.
All right, let's go. Go up to your room.
Okay.
It's like, oh, look at this place. Looks like a mess.
So everybody downstairs is they've been placated, right? So they're kind of milling around. They're talking, discussing, so on and so forth. People are being served and whatnot. You guys go upstairs. Zero shuts the door, sits down on the bed, and says, okay, look. I'm a member of the Black Hand Assassins Guild. So is Corellin, the cook.
Who's that? Who are the Black Hand? Try to deceive him to...
Oh, you trying to deceive him?
Well, he's trying to like play it off like he doesn't
Trying to
know
play
who they
stupid?
are. Yeah. Like, what's the Black Hand? Like, I don't run in those circles, buddy. What do you take me for?
I rolled a 1. I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1?
Yeah, I did. I totally rolled a 1.
For deception, I rolled a 18.
Even with my bonus, there's nothing there. So Zero looks at you, blink, 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 like, oh my God, you really? So he explains to you that the Black Hand is a guild of assassins. We kill people for money, see?
Sounds dangerous.
It is quite dangerous. Corellin, the guild placed Corellin here about a year ago because this is a constant, it's a place where people stop and travel between Lone Pine and Newmark, as I said earlier. They placed him here as not only as basically somebody taking notes, watching, keeping track, whatever, but if they needed to take care of something, as the cook in his position, he could easily have somebody, he could kill somebody if he had to. Corellin got he was paid through the guild to kill Haleth. They are the owner. So Corellin poisoned him. And it should have killed Haleth right off. It did not.
Why wants to kill him?
We don't know. We don't care. We're just doing what we're paid to do.
It's like, is that what Assassin's Guild do? Like he's...
Yes, that's why his level of that. He's like, I can't believe you're this goddamn. What turnip truck did you come in
from
on again?
outside of town? We don't know. Yeah.
So the basis of this is that Corellin has tried to kill Haleth on 5 separate occasions, and he won't die. He has poisoned him and so on and so forth. And
maybe the poison's not strong enough. I mean,
oh no, it should do the job. It should absolutely do the job.
He didn't put the poison on the eggplant, and then he ate, the broccoli, like
yeah.
the zucchini.
No.
What's going on?
So Corellin had contacted the guild, and what Zero knows to be true is that Corellin has found that there's something else going on underneath the inn. He doesn't know what it is, but he knows that's got to be what Haleth. That's got to be the reason Haleth is supposed to die, but he's not dying. So Corellin became very nervous and very scared and wrote back, and that's why I'm here, was to try to protect him and find out what was going on.
When you start looking for things like that, it seems to find you, doesn't it?
It does. He looks at himself. Yeah. Absolutely does. Might
want to count your lucky stars and maybe move on. Maybe this thing that Howland is.
It's a job. I got to do the job.
It might end up killing you.
Or could net you
Wow.
200 gold.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
I'll pay you 200 gold.
200 gold for what?
Find out what Hal is hiding.
200 gold, huh? Looks at Dirk. Dirk's like, I don't know, 200 gold. I mean, is that the going rate? I mean, how much are they paying you?
I'll give you 3.
300 gold. He went up 100 gold. That means you got a lot to spare, friend.
Mm.
All right, well, I'm not going to haggle with you. It seems, I mean, is this, are we talking something supernatural maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Well, it's no wonder something ripped your body apart. Now, Dirk, what do you say? Wait a minute, 300 each?
Yes.
Dirk could send some home to Grandma. Don't you mess with my grandma.
You guys in?
Yeah, we're in.
All right.
What's the plan, Zero?
So Zero says he's going to go down. He's going to go downstairs and demand to talk to Haleth about what happened in his room. Kind of basically, well, I shouldn't say basically, exactly what he's going to do is distract Haleth and have him deal with the whole room debacle, whatever happened there, so on and so forth. He's going to keep Haleth occupied. He needs you to head back into the kitchen, talk to Krellin, and see what he's found out, and then move on from there. Fair enough?
I think we could pull this off.
Excellent.
What do you think, Dirky boy? All right. Probably.
Awesome. All right. Pretty short order. Hal, you guys come down. Zero calls, gets Quinn over, says, "Hey, I need to talk to your dad." Haleth comes over. "What can I do for you, sir?" Well, they start talking back and forth. Let's come up and see the room. Zero's being very loud about the story about something with the chimney. It exploded. He's making some kind of like the rocks. If you overheat a rock, sometimes they'll break and so forth. He's making it seem like it's some sort of more of an engineering mishap than has anything to do with a supernatural or a monster or anything along those lines. And some of the old timers like, "Oh, well, yeah, I've heard of that sort of thing, blah, blah, blah." But Zero's keeping Haleth and everybody else very focused on him, his story. And Zero now has Haleth headed up to the room to go take a look at that. So this would be your opportunity.
So Haleth is the guy that the
Black Hand is trying to kill.
okay. And
Krellin.
yes, that guy. Krellin
Yep.
is the cook.
Who's also an assassin.
Who's also an assassin trying to kill Haleth.
Yep, and it hasn't worked.
Got it. All right. So as he is talking to Haleth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I go downstairs to the cook, or down into
Okay.
I say,
Go over into the kitchen. Yep.
yeah, go into the kitchen. Lard and Dirk.
Okay, you open the door. Krellin turns around, sees both of you. What can I help you?
I'm Lard. I'm Lard. This is Dirk. I points down towards him. We know the deal, buddy. Jig is up. We're on the payroll. What's going on? Is there something leading from downstairs from here? Look, we talked to Zero. We know the deal. Don't even give us any bullshit.
Zero?
Yeah, the guy from, come on, man. Your colleague from the Black Hand.
Shuts the door.
All right, see? Is that the code word? Black.
Stop. For God's sake, keep it down.
All right, let's not dick around now. We're partners. We're buddies. All right?
All right. So, if you go outside, around the back,
Oh, boy.
there's a cellar entrance. It's locked. I've got the key. Hands it to you. Whatever he's hiding, it's down there.
You haven't been down there yet.
I haven't been down there yet. No.
So all this time you've been dicking around, you haven't been down in the cellar yet?
Nope.
Why?
Haven't had a chance.
You chicken, aren't you? You're a chicken.
He looks around. There's a lot. There's a little sweat, a little nervousness. Yeah.
You're part of that tough Black Hand Assassins Guild. Boy, I hope this doesn't get out. What's your name? You're Corellian? Corellith?
He's got the look of, well, I've tried to kill the guy a couple of times and he hasn't died. I've tried to poison him. He's not dying. So I'm a little, he's nervous. He's scared.
I got your number, man. I would watch your back. Huh?
All right.
I would watch. I'll go down there. Let's go down there, Dirk. Let's do some. Hey, Dirk, let's do some good. Hey, ring.
Nice. All right. Out you go.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. You guys go outside through the shitty weather to the door. It's got a padlock on it. Key fits it easily. Pop. Crack the door open. Set of stairs going down.
Dark.
Of course.
Shit.
Dwarf is dark vision.
Indeed. Dirk, I can't see in this shit. Go get a lantern. Get a lantern. I don't know what to tell you.
You send him back to you.
Yeah,
He
he goes back inside. He gets a lantern from the tavern and then goes back.
So, Dirk, while you're waiting for Lard to come back, there is, it is really, really.
Dirk is there.
He's the dwarf, yeah.
Yeah.
while you're standing at the entrance to the basement, it's dark. You can see down there, but it is really rank. There is a horrible, horrible stench down there. Nasty, nasty stench.
Sewage. Why is it got to be sewage?
It's not sewage. This is rotten meat. This is rotten meat.
Ah, even worse.
Yep.
Jesus.
Lard comes back, little lantern. I got a lantern.
Yeah. All right. Oh, God. What is that? Oh, it's rotten meat, probably. I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to pinch your nose for this. All right. Lights the lantern, or if it's already lit, great.
Yep. Head on down.
Yeah, and Dirk leads the way.
Okay. So, Dirk, you go down. It goes down about 10, 15 feet, levels out into what looks like a regular, it's just a 10 by 10 root cellar type of basement. However, on the directly across from you is a newer section of the wall that's been, I shouldn't say newer section of the wall. There's a newer aperture in the section of the wall. It's been broken down and there's poorly done wood planking and stuff keeping it up, but there's a tunnel leading out of that. And from that tunnel is where the smell is coming from. Most of the foodstuffs in this area seem like they're okay. A lot of, dried herbs and things hanging, but there's nothing to mask the smell of what's coming down the tunnel.
I guess we should follow our nose, eh, Dirk?
You heading down?
Yeah.
Okay. Dirk, you go down the tunnel. As you're walking, your dark vision, you can pick up. There are tracks in the mud and in the dirt down here. It's cold. It has that underground damp feel. As Dirk is walking down, you start to see there's things hanging from the ceiling and being displayed on the walls. As he walks down, you can see there's bits of skin. There's a hand like nailed to a beam. There's a, piece of a leg off on one other side. There's bits of people hammered up on the walls like a trophy or like a display piece. It's incredibly disgusting, obviously, and it stinks bad. Many of the body parts, they're old. They've been rotting. They have looks like they've been gnawed on. It's got that whole charnel house feel. Still going on?
I'm beginning to think this is a bad idea, Dirk. What do you think? I don't know. We should probably check it out. There's something's going on here. All right, we go further.
Okay. It goes on for a total of about 50 feet. And now you're like, okay, are we even under the bar anymore? Where exactly are we? Dirk the dwarf is, with his being a dwarf and being underground, I said, okay, we have moved around quite a bit here. It didn't go straight. It twisted, turned, took a couple dips. Like, this is odd. You come into, at the end of the hallway is another aperture that leads out into a room. This room is 30 by 30. The ground from the doorway slopes down about a 45-degree angle. So it's 30 by 30, but it's deep, right? So you're up kind of near the ceiling of it. So it dips down about 40 feet. So it's a deeper hole. In the center of it is an altar. It's a massive, big basalt type of thing. There's no people chained to it or anything like that. All the people are chained off in the corners. But the basalt altar itself, it has a statue in the center of it. The statue of this corpulent, goat-headed demonic form with big wings and this weird skull-handled wand. It's this big thing. Like an Orcus. Yeah, if you could think of an Orcus statue, that's what the statue would look like there. Against the walls on the other side, to different support beams and so forth. Every person from up in the inn, you see chained down here. Every person you see, Haleth, Zero, everybody
Chained up along the walls on the outside.
they're chained up along the walls. So where you're standing here, right, and it slopes down 45 degrees, goes down 40 feet.
Yeah.
At the base in that room, along the floor, are everybody from upstairs is chained down here.
Are they alive?
They look like they probably are. There's a couple shuffles, a few moans, some kicks and squeaks type of thing.
Shit. What have we gotten into there?
You hear a really soft, quiet voice behind you. I told you it was a finger.
Is it the little girl?
Yeah.
How'd you get down here, little one?
You turn back, you see her.
Yeah.
All right. She has Zero's head in her right hand. Just blood dripping off of it. Her mouth is like just split wide open. She's got these nasty, long, horrible teeth. Her fingers are claws.
Of course she does.
Initiative.
Shit.
There it goes. Use this one.
Oh, where did I roll initiative for this shit?
Level 14.
Oh, man. Trying to find initiative on this character sheet. Oh, here we go. Lard has a 13. And Dirk has a 3.
3. At home, when I run an initiative chart on my whiteboard, it starts off at 30 and goes down to anything under 5 is called suck. It's at the bottom. So they're in the suck range.
I prefer the suck versus
The suck.
just suck. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So the first thing that happens is she screams. She lets out this god-awful, blood-curdling, like it's a lion-like roar mixed with like 5 little schoolgirls shrieking.
That little monster.
I need you to make wisdom saves, please. Excuse me. Cough is terrible tonight.
Wisdom save, huh?
Yes.
So, Lard rolled a 1 for a total of 2. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. DC's 13, by the way. So.
I was kind of close. And then, of course, Dirk hits it with the 19.
Very good.
Yeah.
So Lard he's paralyzed. So as paralyzed, creatures incapacitated can't move or speak. You automatically fail strength and dexterity saving throws. I have advantage in all attacks against you. Any hit that the creature is a critical. Ooh, if I'm within 5 feet of you. So that's handy. So that's the first thing she does. That's her whole action, excuse me. And so Lard locks up, but Derek, he holds it up.
Right.
He holds ground, right? All right. So,
Yeah.
Lard, you're frozen. You do nothing.
Correct.
Good for you.
Here we go. Hey, I'll role
Dirk,
play.
what do you do? Oil can. Dirk, what do you do?
Dirk is gonna he's gonna do some damage.
There we go. Shing.
Yeah, he shings out the weapon. And he's going to,
Armor class 13.
I guess he's just gonna attack her. All right. 14.
Hit.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. 3 damage. God, the worst. A longsword. Normal.
What are you hitting with?
Yeah.
Longsword. Okay. All right. So back to the top of the order. The bad guy. She is going to
Dirk's armor
take a
class is
hit
18.
at Dirk. What's Dirk's armor class? Oh God, I rolled a total of 12. Missed you there. Another one at you, and I rolled an 11. Even worse. Okay. Then, so she takes her 2 claw attacks. She's dropped Zero's head. She takes the 2 claw attacks at Dirk. That fails. When she's finished that flurry of blows, she mumbles something, and you can hear from the background some rising somewhere in the room behind you. Right? You're fighting in the hallway. It's somewhere in the distance, back in the room, echoing. At that point, you can hear the sobbing sounds from people out there, and the horrible, like, oh no, the pain. She's doing something with them. Dirk, your turn.
All right.
Oh wait, Lard, make another saving throw, please. Wisdom save.
12.
DC 13. Come on, Lard, you could do it. 12. You failed. Hey,
So she is
Dirk, what do you
within
do?
weapon range. I'm gonna attack her again.
Okay,
All right, that's an 18
better.
for 7 damage. It takes a sword out. Whooshing!
Not bad.
Ew, abomination! Ew! Ugh!
2 claw attacks back at Dirk. Ooh, that's an 18. I hit you there. You will take 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of damage.
Whoa!
Make a Constitution save.
Con save!
Yeah.
My God. Oh, yeah, baby. 21!
Nice. Okay, DC on a con save is only 10.
Suck it, girly.
Okay. So when she hit you with those claw, when it hit you, you felt like this. It's like this nasty virulence hits you and just burns, and it like this horrible poison's trying to. But your body's like, no, I shall not.
She's not even
And
a
you
little
force that
girl
off.
anymore.
All right, that's her turn.
Oh, God.
Lard, save. Come on, save. You could save. Come on. You useless bard. God damn it.
5.
5. Oh my
Lard
God.
is worthless.
Dirk in the cut.
Dirk,
give me a perception check.
Perception? All right.
Yeah. Yep.
21.
And okay, there is a darkness. It looks like it's made out of it's a ball of soot is the best way to say it. The smoke and soot is rising up from the altar in the center of the room. It's kind of coalescing and forming into a man-like shape with like clawed hands and clawed feet. It's coalescing in there. It isn't completed. You can see the soot, the blackness is coming off of all of the people that are chained up, and their bodies are just shaking and racked with pain and torture as the blackness comes out of them and feeds this thing as it's forming. All right, that was Lard. Bad guy's turn.
And I'm going to.
You're still standing. She's going to keep swinging at you, and I'm going to keep throwing my dice on the floor out to grab another one. That is a 13 and a 15. I miss and a miss. Lard, save.
Come on, Lardy boy. 14.
14, very good.
I am unparalyzed.
Very good. As a quick DM here. I am absolutely not fudging my dice here. The creature isn't like it's tough. It's a homebrewed critter and all, but the DC's at a decent enough rate that I know he should be able to make these. I'm not fudging my dice. Dirk is tough enough that with the creature fighting him and focused on him, she's not going to bother with Lard because Dirk continues to hit her and do damage. So I'm like, I've got to roll an 18 or higher. And as cold as my dice are right now, there's no point for me to mess around or do anything silly. So, all right, Lard, you are freed. You can, you cannot attack, but you could take another type of action. What would you like to
Lard, free action. Dirk says, to the altar, Lard, to the altar. And so Lard boogies down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he starts heading down the ramp, getting towards it. Okay, Dirk, your turn.
Will take out that thing that is posing as a girl.
Oh, Dirk. Dirk, give me a perception check.
Perception 19.
Good. Okay, as soon as Dirk, you bark that order towards Lard, you can tell that has it distracted. The demonic creature, the devil, whatever in the hell this thing is, you said that, it kind of does the whole neat jerk back, like, oh shit, it's active. Like the other one can move now. So she's aware of it, and you could tell that your directive to Lard has impacted its thoughts, right? You've told your friend to do something that she doesn't want you to do. Your turn, though. Go ahead, Dirk.
So Dirk is going to attempt to attack her again.
Go for it.
All right.
AC 13.
Natural 20, baby.
Natural 20. Critical.
24.
How much damage? How much damage?
Oh, you've got to be shitting me. I rolled a 1 and a 2 on the damage, so a total of 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Okay. So she breaks off from you and runs. So you're going to get an attack of opportunity on her because she's running away from you to attack Lard from behind. This is not like a withdrawal action. She's like just leaving all behind her to go make sure that he doesn't do whatever it is he's doing. So one free shot.
15.
Yep, AC 13.
9 damage. Yeah. I critical and I suck.
Regular damage 9.
Yeah, regular damage 9.
Nice. Very good. All right, so Chi barrels out after Lard. And the first thing she's going to do is, she's going to use her range. So Lard, make a dex saving throw, DC 10.
Lard's dex is saving throw 15.
15, good. All right, you will take half damage from this.
Okay.
So she's running and she gets she's got little bitty legs. She got little kid legs, right? So she goes the distance she can in movement, stops, opens her mouth, and just belches out this stream of maggots, flies, centipedes, this horrible, bugs just go rolling out of her and slam right into Lard's back. His dex will allow him to take half this damage from the horrible biting, clawing, burrowing critters. That is 12 points of damage. We'll take half of that.
Half of that. Okay.
Half of that. You saved. You saved for half.
It's okay. Sucking
and
wind.
you did make the dex save. So I'm going to say that you're not knocked over either, right? So you're running down the 45 degree. She blasts you from behind. You're able to keep moving. You stumble, but you keep rolling. So Lard, your turn.
So for the record, both of my characters at this point have 4 hit points each. All right. So Lard, yeah.
At the beginning, but you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So Lard, you can get up to the altar. The smoky creature coalescing building out there it's starting to form. It's the eyes within it are glowing red, and it's starting to take more shape. The eyes are glowing red. It looks like whatever's happened, something bad's gonna happen.
So I try to get within, say, 60 feet.
Can do that easy.
And I whisper a sweet melody.
Okay. What is it?
When the bow breaks, the cradle will rock, and
All right.
down will come demon, cradle and all.
No.
So,
What is this?
Wisdom saving throw. DC 13.
I rolled a 12.
Takes
I
3d6.
mean, with all my bonuses, I got a 12.
3d6 damage. Where is it?
What are you casting at? Her or the thing?
The thing.
Okay.
11 points of damage. Sleepy, sleepy.
All right. What is that spell? What did you do?
Dissonant whispers.
Oh, Dissonant Whispers. Oh my God, that thing's brutal. Okay. That song goes out. The spell hits the creature. Once it hits the smoky, soot-filled, coalescing thing, it hits the red glowing eyes bulge. The body starts to cave in on itself. You could hear the little girl demon. She screams in the background like you hurt her. And at that point, the coalescing smoke thing falls apart. Literally, like you took black creosote and just dumped it. There's this oily splat where all the blackness falls out. The people stop screaming and moaning. Now they're just crying from the pain. Lard does a quick turn back. Dirk can see it, and the girl is laying there now. Her body's twisting and writhing and starts to contort and transforms into, it's very clearly a demonic body. And it's just kind of standing, trying to rise up a little bit. It's all bits of the girl form are like still, the flesh still stuck to her, but its actual natural form is there now. This spiky, horrendously scaled thing with a big gaping maw. And she's this, she's really, really wounded and is crawling, trying to make her way to the altar. She's saying something like, Father Orcus, Lord Orcus, save me. Dirk, what do you do? Your turn.
Dirk attacks her and says, Orcus isn't gonna be here to save you this time, girlie. Yeah, come on, baby. Shit. Oh.
You have advantage, dude.
Oh, for Pete's sakes. A 12 and a 10.
All right, so you slam into the dirt near her. She has the opportunity to turn around. This little last ditch. Dirk, make a Constitution save if you would. Actually, excuse me, Wisdom save.
11.
11 DC 10. You made it. She turned around, and for a brief instant, you saw this cute little girl, and she just said, help me, please. But Dirk's like, no, shook it off. You rolled enough.
Yeah.
The illusion's gone. Lard, what do you do?
I see you, girl. It's not you. You're the demon. Lard's going to, I think he is going to, oh, that's not going to be, he's going to mock her.
It's just mockery?
Dude, that spell, I tell you, is ridiculous, but I'm going to use it anyway.
And you're ugly, and I don't like you.
Pretty
and,
much.
All right,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, you
Are
ugly.
you going to save me throw on that one?
Yes, wisdom save 13, please.
15.
Okay.
Dirk's turn.
Yeah. Dirk's turn. He still has
advantage because she's still on the ground.
He's going to attack her then.
Okay.
Yeah. No more Orcus. 11. Oh, God. An 11 and an 8. I have gone cold.
She's got nothing left. You're going to kill her. She has 2 hit points left.
Come on, Dirk.
I had my one last little gasp of her trying to illusion you. You can take care of her from here. She's weak and down, and you've stopped her flow of power. So, all right, you have destroyed her, or at least banished her from this plane. So good for you.
Dirk puts the blow down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll smoke her.
He looks around.
So just from a game master perspective, there's no point to prolong it. She's not going to be able to affect them. She can only do the little charm thing once. She doesn't have it anymore. All of her other things, she can no longer attack based on my description of and going. She's just done. There's nothing she can do, and the heroes are winning, so I'm going to let them have it. So Dirk does what?
He goes to check on his friend.
Lard?
Yeah. You all right? I'm a little, took a couple knocks, but I'm all right. And both of them look around.
That's over 3/4 of my life is gone.
Pretty much. Blow it off. And they both look around the antechamber.
Yes.
To see if all the people are okay or what's going on with them.
They're hurt and wounded. They need care. They need medical attention and whatnot. But you can free them, and no one has died.
Okay.
Had you failed to stop the summoning component of it, it would have axed a couple of them.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So they split up and start freeing the people and comforting them and consoling them. Everything's going to be okay. You're fine now. You're fine. Everything's going to be all right. Just don't eat the soup.
Very good. All right, man. That's what I had. So from a... Oh, thank you. So what had happened, Game Master-wise, is I had a couple different options for creatures I wanted. One was like ghouls in the basement, demonic summoning, something. And I wasn't quite positive who I wanted the NPC bad guy, the turncoat, to be. Like, is it Zero? No, it can't be Zero. It's got to be something else. Like, you know what? I need the kid. I want the kid to be the bad creature. And you can murder the kid because it's actually a demon. You won't feel bad killing the demon, right? Because it's this horrible thing. What it had done is that I decided that everybody was trapped in there, and it's basically illusion and so on and so forth. Had you continue the campaign, you find out why it can do what it can do, what its power is, the cult of Orcus behind it, and so on. But there you be.
That's fantastic, Brett.
So you don't have to lie to me.
That's fine.
Did you have fun though?
Yeah,
Did you have fun? Okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, apart from this sheet of paper, which has like that many notes on it, that's it. I made the rest of it up. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. The DCs and armor classes, I based them off of ghouls and ghasts. I'm like, okay, I want it to be within that power range. So I had my monster manual open next to me with the ghoul and ghast page from my 5e monster manual, so I could keep it within those bounds. Looked at the saving throws, like, okay, she's going to have a couple extra pieces and parts. The other thing I like to do thematically is sometimes having the bad guy have one last gasp, which is the charm. Like, hey, save me. And then Dirk would have attacked Lard. However, I want that to be a last gasp and has to be like a really bad failure. So I had the DC on some of those things 10 instead of 13. 13 was the larger one, and she could do that once, the big scream, which is basically instead of a ghoul's touch to paralyze you, the demon could scream and paralyze people that way. So it wasn't touch based. And then the claws had the opportunity to poison you, but only initially because she had poisoned herself prior to the fight. After the first round, I stopped having you make the saves because her claws are out. She'd used poison to attack you with. It wasn't a native natural thing she could do. But I gave her 20, 25. She had 30 hit points. And you had done 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, like 27, I think, total by the end. So then I'm like, yeah, she's done. And the other thing is after you destroy the creature, her form is fading. She's getting banished through the process. That was part of the whole ritual connection component of it. The other thing I think is interesting, which I like what you did, Sean, was that sometimes things don't always make sense and they don't always connect. Like, okay, what's this? What's that? And I think the things that you do, which I appreciate that my home group does a lot too, is you're like, okay, but let's see, tying the threads together. Like, there's a weird loose one, fuck it. There's a monster. We'll work out the threads later. There's an obvious threat. There's a thing down here. So you had plenty of opportunities where you could have just turtled up and said, well, let me get all the jigsaw pieces and try to paint the full, what's exactly happening. And it was a bit of weirdness with more behind it than you could have found out. So there would have been gaps in your plan. Right. And the fact that I knew that you as a player, you're not going to let those gaps stop you from doing shit. Right. You're here to play. So you're going to play D&D. You're not going to, you're not going to be like, well, I only have 3 clues, but I think Brett might have 8 clues. So let's wait until we get at least 7 clues before we go forward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have found that if I've played with players that typically play, Jeff is a big player. Like he doesn't game master.
Doesn't run games. No.
And I think he usually grasps onto stuff like that and goes with it, right? And inherently he's like, okay. Also on the same side of things, to some extent, the Forbidden Lands group and a few others, a lot of game masters. And so they understand, like, okay, this is kind of the deal, so to speak.
Yeah, we should, this looks like a plot hook. I should probably bite onto that so I can do some stuff.
Not all players are like that. And I think if any player sees this or watches this and maybe I probably would have investigated a little bit more, what have you. I don't think that's necessarily a bad, wrong thing to do or an approach to things. But at the same time, sometimes you just kind of have to say, whether it's, because I think the beef that some players have, or the reason they go in a different direction, is that they are not, to them in their brain, sometimes it may be, well, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, they're following a chain of reasoning to try to lead them to one place or another.
That's a perfect way to frame it up. A chain of reasoning. Yes.
So there's some constraints we had. We said, hey, this is gonna be a longer episode. I didn't want to drag this out. Right. Had this been a multiple episode type of game with more players, right? 2 players is different than 1 player playing 2 characters. It's a totally different dynamic as well. Doing a smash cut between 2 different players versus 1 player's 2 characters has a different feel and approach as well. Because if I smashed over to, let's say, Eileen, and she was outside investigating, and she's like, okay, let me check. And if her dice were hot and yours were cold, she made a quick survival check. She would have found, oh, there's a lot of footprints out here that lead to this Dorothy door, or she would have seen the Dorothy door. You just rolled for shit. So I'm like, you don't see anything and you just ignore it. You ignore the obvious door because it doesn't matter to you. And in that meantime, between a smash cut like that, between people, you'd have been in the room talking to Zero, potentially without her there, or having the side conversation, and different things happen because you have time to think. Well, she's out there looking around. You're like, ooh, I just thought of a really good question. No. And then when I come back to you in the smash cut, you're like, aha, I'm ready to go and really fire away. Where in this case, I thought you did a great job because it's tough to play 2 characters sometimes and then operate freely between them. As a game master, I couldn't quite figure out what the fuck you were doing with the singing thing. I'm like, oh, he's just having fun. He likes doing this. Like, you were singing a lot. And I'm like, is he doing this to be annoying to me, or is he doing it to have fun? And I'm like,
bard, Brett.
I know.
Bards,
and I'm like, wait a minute. Yes. Well, it's interesting though, because a lot of times when I have run stuff with players who are playing bards, they do that initially and then they stop. Like, now it's time to be an adventurer and no longer the bard. And you carried the bardic approach through, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Hi, Brett. I don't know what to say. I have a bard as a character.
I'm all in.
The bards.
So the other thing that for me, because I only have concepts and things I want to do, and I'm making a lot of it up. And depending on I know how it will start and the basics for the ending. And a lot of it comes down to, for me, as I'm making things connect and making sure that this works and that I'm following a chain of reasoning that you're helping me lay out as you're finding something, you found this interesting and so forth. If you had not given a shit about the, rat face guy in the corner, You wouldn't have. I'm like, all right, then nothing happens. Then I want something to happen. So there's got to be a scream. Somebody has to die. Something has to occur. I need to have NPC drama, something happening to get you to move, because otherwise it's like, weirdness, right? And the whole thing was the little demonic creature was just fucking with you two and Zero and Krellin, trying to, sorting things out. And it wasn't like I was tempted to do an old school straight dungeon, like a 3-4 room dungeon. But I thought, well, D&D can be a lot more than that, and investigating, talking, performing, and so on. And I know sometimes I don't call for skill checks, or sometimes I do. My logic, I tried to say it, but my logic for calling out certain skill checks was, I'm like, well, you're in the middle of a fight. You should probably, if I said, oh, she turns to attack Lard immediately afterwards, she's like, well, wouldn't I have seen that she was going to make a move or something, because we're in close combat? How do I not see? And I didn't think you were going to do that, but I've run into that before. And I'm like, well, in a system with a skill check, I could have you do a perception check as the combatant, just to throw away. Here, check this. You do it. And if you failed and she ran away from you, you're like, where's she going? You're not sure. You could, then it's up to you, Sean, to make the assumption. But because your character made the roll, I tell you, Dirk knows she's worried about this based on what you said. Ting. Now we can take some actions based on that. And I think that helps. I tend to use the perception quite often, because that's the one I find people are always like, what do I see? What do I know? What do I observe? And it's such a more active and passive thing at the same time. I could just say, well, what's your passive perception? You don't notice it, but I'm like, they're in a fight, and especially in a fight, I want to be able to succeed or fail based on dice in D&D. So did that work for you when I did that?
I think so, for the most part. I mean, I don't have any complaints about how things. I don't have any complaints about, oh, that didn't make sense, or why did he have me do that? And then, because when you explain, it's funny, because you could explain things and break the fourth wall, but it wouldn't matter to me going back to the action.
Yeah.
Because I would still act the way I would want to act given the situation, and not consider, I mean, to me, why you would do something or present something as a game master, because the fact is you still present it, and I still have to react or deal with whatever's presented. Knowing that it's like, well, that's kind of the hook, right? I mean, you wanted me to go back into the kitchen, but to me, so going back to an example where it was like, maybe contrary to what I'm saying, is when you mentioned the kitchen and the guy or thing or whatever that went back there, I was like, yeah, do I have enough to go back there? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's where I'm like, So from my GM perspective, I'm like, okay, he's not doing what other people have done in a similar situation. So my first thought isn't, why is he being obtuse or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not giving him enough. That's my first thought. Mm-hmm. Quite frankly, I hope I portrayed that. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing something to make you, this sounds railroady, right? But I want to make you have a reason, not to make you go somewhere. And right. I think I may have misstated it earlier, kind of off the cuff, but I want to give you a reason to investigate the cool thing.
Right.
So part of this was like, from a lore of the world perspective, I'm like, there's a black hand. This isn't a real world. It's just something I'm pulling together for here. It's like, oh, black hand. I've used that type of assassins thing before. So then make Sean ask about that. How does that match? What is this thing? A bit of world lore. And then the Orcus demon in the basement. Okay, there's Orcus is there. I get that. But I wanted you to be interested enough in the area and poking around the inn. I'm like, okay, I'm not giving him enough. He doesn't have to leave the common room right now because everything's coming to him. I can't split you up. I can't make you go anywhere because I'm not giving you anything interesting. So from my perspective, I took that as shit. What can I add? What can I spice this up with? Right? Because I don't want demons to keep kicking in the door, and I don't want everything to come to you. I want to make you go get stuff, but you're not going to go get it if it's not interesting.
Right. And when you said that you think you saw something go back there, or the door moved, and there's nobody back there. I didn't know. Could it have, to me as a player character, I could have been like, okay, that's odd, but is it my place? Maybe it's a real short person that I didn't see over the bar. Where if you would have said something like, there's this little demon thing that laughs at you and cackles, goes scooting off into the kitchen, I'd be like, what?
That's a good, looking back at it, what I should have done is said, you see the girl.
Oh,
Why's the girl going in the
sure.
kitchen? That had driven you right there, right? Made you want to look at it, even if you went back there and she wasn't there, or whatever the case was.
Or went back there to say, hey, you're not supposed to be back there.
Yeah, would have driven you there.
Yeah.
Because I think part of it is that it's goofy because I run a lot of games. And sometimes there's this line between, I don't want to make you go investigate the thing I think is cool, but I want to give you enough reason where, like, look, if this is kind of, you're going to have your best chance to deal with the thing if you get this clue, or you have the best chance to deal with this aspect, or this is going to be the most fun for everybody involved if you have interesting things happen to you. If I'm like, ooh, this would be interesting for them if they saw this thing, or be interesting for them if the party had to split, or be interesting if they encountered this NPC. And sometimes I have taken a crack at it. I took a couple where I'm like, Sean doesn't give a fuck. I got to move around. I'm done. I'm not going to just bang my head on the wall and say, yeah, but the door moved. Yeah, but the door moved. Yeah, but the door moved. It's going to be like, is the record stuck? What's wrong with you, Brett? Come on, move it on. Because I hope you didn't feel like I was railroading. I know in a short campaign, a short adventure, it can be tough, but I didn't want to feel like I was forcing you to do a thing.
No, I think a railroad, I think we know it when we see it and experience it, and it can be really tough. And I don't think,
I think you had agency. At least I felt like you could make choices and whatever. And I felt like I was reacting to your choices. And like when you pushed on 0, I'm like, like money. You're a grifter. You're into cash. So I'm going to say, I'll start at 2 and work my way up. And see what you're willing to go for.
Yeah. And the thing is, I think too, is even with the things that were put forth, like, 0 came down, we talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
In the moment, there's something up there. There was one thing after the other that was why wouldn't you just follow what's being put down? Something in my room attacked me. I don't know what it was. All right, we got to go to the room. It's not like, oh, well, that's dumb. Let's go over to the kitchen, right? It's go into the room, whether there's something in there or not. And then once we're there, then it's up to Brett to like, do I want something to be there or not? No. Okay. But I want some clues. Okay. I'll drop these clues. Oh, and then I'll put, the skins in there for him to read. Okay. Munch, go downstairs, and then it's like things get rolling. So I think you can do that linear thing. And I think a lot of DMs do that, and players should hook onto that really easily if you present it in that particular way. The one thing that could have happened was you could have went to the room and be like, oh, there's nothing there. It's just a normal room. All right, I search it. Okay, what do you do? Drawer. I look under the drawer, look under the bed. Is there any personal possessions? Nope. Am I in the right room?
I like to shortcut some of that stuff. Like, you tear the room apart, give me a check or whatever it is, and add some color to it. Like, hey, there's what you talked about. I'm like, well, he's traveling. There's not going to be a trunk there. He had a horse. So there's saddlebags. I actually was waiting to see him. Like, I wonder if he's going to go out and look at the horse. I had no idea. And I'm like,
in some groups, they'd be like, horse.
Horse, son of a bitch. We could use a horse. Horses would get us to the next town. Fuck.
Right.
Fuck. But I was thinking, like, what happens if they go to the stables? And they being both your characters, I thought, shit, I said saddlebags. What if he decides to go out to the stables? I don't know what I'm going to do then. I'll figure it out. If it happens, I'll worry about it. But I'm like, okay, I said saddlebags. I should have just said backpack. That would have kept him in the room. Because the action's in the end, and sometimes a choice of words like saddlebags, saddlebags equals horse equals a place outside this building.
There's no backpack, but there's saddlebags. And you're like, saddlebags, horse. Is there anything in the saddlebags? No. Horse. Okay, let's go get the horse. Yeah.
It's goofy how one descriptor like that could have caused you to go look at something where I didn't quote unquote didn't want you to go see, or I wasn't prepared for, just because I said saddlebags just for color and descriptive. Did you feel like you had enough agency to do different things and stuff? Because I didn't want to squash your creativity and so forth, but I knew we also had a shorter period of time, and I didn't want to.
So the short answer is yes. The only comment is, okay, I know the cook, I know the owner, or I know their names or whatever, right? And then I think then it's, how do I put it? How do I get involved? Like, what's the boundaries that the normal dwarf and human would have in a tavern given the situation? So like,
Got it. Okay.
Right. So like the whole door, like the door moves and somebody goes back to the kitchen. Okay.
Whatever.
Right. Should I do that? Maybe I could, but then somebody's going to be like, hey man, what are you going to the kitchen for? Wait, this is, personnel only. Whoops. Oh, sorry. My bad.
See, I know some other players would be like, well, I've got a bard. I'll just bluff my way past anything. I belong back here.
Fair.
But again, that's one player's perspective versus another one. So your thoughts are solid there. I like that. That's
for me, it's like I'm strangers coming to this town. It's going to say at the Copper Cup because I need solace from the weather and the shit that's outside.
Do I just go swinging my what around and walking into everything I want to just because? Yeah, is that really? Is that what I would do? Is that socially acceptable? And I think if nothing else, if it was a longer component, I hinted at it where the girl and the mom said we don't see a lot of dwarves.
Right. True.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could have leaned into that more in a longer piece, or if it would have been a campaign world, then it could have said, well, you don't see a lot of dwarves. So the dwarf draws a lot of attention. And then whoever's playing the dwarfs as well, I'm going to go wander back there. If someone gives me shit, I'll be like, I'm sorry. And my culture, we always check out the kitchen because we won't eat in a filthy kitchen. I'm making this up right now, but I think I can lie my way past the guard, type of thing. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got two other questions for you. Was that enough combat for you? Did you want more fighty?
No, I think for the amount of time that had taken place, that was plenty. I'm not big combat guy. I mean, yes, I am, but. Well,
I should say that was an advantage from having played with you before. I felt pretty comfortable that if I had one fight, Sean would be cool with one fight, but I just wanted to verify.
Yeah.
I felt pretty confident that you'd be good with it.
Yeah, it's got to fit the story, man. I kind of think like if you're like, well, again, present the opportunity, and if they decide to turn it into combat, great.
Yeah, you could have picked a fight with Zero, and he'd have he could have had a stabby fight right there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't see the need to have him on my side of the fence. I didn't see the need to stir things up, and that's not the characters I was playing.
True.
There's always like a character maybe or an NPC that's got a chip on their shoulder and they're Billy Badass and they want to go into the prison yard and go up to the biggest MF kick their ass. Yeah. And it's like, what? That doesn't make, okay, whatever.
So I noted, at least it seemed to me that I find different people react differently to named NPCs. And sometimes people are like cook, owner, cook, barkeep, little kid, mom, dad is easier than Haleth the owner, Corellian the cook, Quinn the boy, so on and so forth. Would it have been easier for you as Sean if I'd have just went with like job titles versus names?
No, I don't think so. I'm a big fan of everybody having a name, although it's hard to keep track of who's who.
That's where I was going for. I'm like, sometimes not a risk, but I guess this kind of risk you run when I have a closed environment like this.
Yeah.
If everybody's just a job title, it's kind of feels mundane,
right? Sure.
Unimpressive. Where if you say Haleth, Zero, Quinn, I had Sarah, Marith, Corellin, and I was ready to make up other names if I needed them. But I'm like, well, sometimes too many names. People are like, who's the cook again?
Right.
Because they feel compelled to use the name. So I'm I'm toying with saying, Haleth the owner, Haleth the barkeeper Haleth, or Corellin the cook Corellin more often when I use their names just to drive it home. But because I don't want the players to feel like they're dumb or they missed something when I have to correct them. Like there was one point where you got confused. I was being Quinn the boy. You thought I was somebody else.
Oh.
And I had to correct you. The little discussion by the stairs. I'm like, well, this is real D and this is real gaming. This is what happens constantly. I shouldn't say constantly, but it happens. There's a shit ton. I just did a bunch of name dumps on you. You met a bunch of people. Things happened. And you thought I was doing a different person, which is totally fine. It happens. But I felt like, oh, no. I got to correct you. Fix this. And I wondered, like,
So I think
cut back on the names would have helped. I don't know.
I think with names, you gotta. I personally think you gotta have an organic method of bringing them forward because you wouldn't know anybody's names unless you know the person.
That's what I tried to do. You never asked the little girl. I mean, you asked the little girl, like, you never asked her what her name was. No. That's right. You never asked her the name, and the mother and the father, you didn't ask the name. So I just went with mom, dad, little girl, and older boy.
Right. Sure. And that's fine.
But when the other folks, I did name kind of out of the gate.
Right. And the names of the cook, like I was like, how would I know the name of the cook? Whatever.
Haleth yelled it. Was how we knew.
Fair.
Haleth yelled it. Said, Corellin, get your ass out here. Right. Explain yourself. Blah, blah, blah.
Right. Sure. And to me, would have been like,
that's me.
Right. Yeah. Does my character remember the guy's name? As if I was sitting in a restaurant, I heard somebody yell at the waiter.
Yeah.
Is it like a funny name, or is it like remind me of my, mom or dad or something? Right. And then I'm like, oh, that's
So it's one of those, for me, sometimes lore in a way, or the setting. If I don't give names to people, like if Haleth is mad, and I said when you walked in, Haleth is he's the owner, the barkeep, the hostler, or whatever. He owns the place, and when he yells for the cook to come out, I'm like, I have to yell his name. He wouldn't say, "Cook man, come forth! Cook, come out here!" Right? Unless Cookie, if I could have went Cookie, which is one because my mother grew up in a restaurant in Upper Michigan, and the lady who was behind the stove most of the time, she got the nickname Cookie. That was just what everybody called her. So it's possible you could have those type of things.
It's still a name at that point, though. Usually,
it's still a name, yeah. But anyway, short version is sometimes I wonder if, like, man, if I threw too many names at people, if it was what I started doing, like at cons, a lot of conventions I've played at have had little dry erase mats on the table. So I keep a couple of dry erase markers in my game bag. And I'll write down all the NPCs' names. I'll write them on the table where you can't miss them. Because if I'm doing theater of mind like this, where there's no map, I find it's more important to write the names down.
Sure.
Haleth equals this guy. This person equals that. Her name is this. Her name is that. This person's name is this. They are called this. If I do that, then everybody references, instead of asking me, they look at the table and say, who's the cook again? Oh, yeah, it's Corellin. Who's this? Oh, yeah, that's Sarah. Oh, who's that? Oh, that's Jeremy. Okay, I got it. They can see it. If you're at my house or we were gaming in my room, I use the whiteboard, or even if I don't have any of that, I write down a piece of paper off and put it on the table so people could reference it. So, but you had fun? Was it all right?
I did. It was good. I liked the approach. I like what we did.
Okay.
It's fun. Yeah. I hope everybody else did. So you have to let us know.
Yeah, and if there were decisions or things that we did, part of the other reason to do this is like to try to pick apart. If somebody's like, Brett, I think you fucked up, you could have done, or hey, how come you didn't do, or if you had a better way to do something, or if there was. It's funny because if I go back and listen to it, I'm positive I'll be like, oh my God, gaping plot hole. Oh my God, plot hole. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But at the time, it's just there. It's happening because you're listening to what's going on, what makes sense. You're building your chain of reasoning and you're hooking it and connecting it. And you're like, oh, to the basement I go. And that's where you end up. I think I had enough in me so that if Sean would have went other places, I could have helped eventually direct by building that chain to lead them to a different location. But anyway, cool, man. I'm glad you did this for me. So thank you. I appreciate you playing, man.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we did it. This format, It's interesting. If you found value out of this, give us a like or subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. Thanks to everybody in the chat that showed up and sat back and watched this. Hope it was interesting to you. again, what Brett mentioned, and if there was something that, I would have went this way or that way, or things that I would have found that I would have done that would have been helpful, let us know in the comments or write in to us for Gaming NBS. Otherwise, you can find this at your podcatcher of choice and write in to feedback@gamingnbs.com. We could field it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it for this one.
Good, man. I think we've got a couple different ideas for what could come next. I like the idea of talking about starter sets. Even what we just hashed out here a little bit, named NPCs, how you introduce names, how to do it organically, and so forth. I appreciate folks listening. As always, you guys are awesome. Well, everybody who listens to us is so much fun. So thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And for Gaming NBS, I'm Sean.
And I'm Brett. Good night and good game and all.
This episode of Gaming NBS produced with help from the following BSers: Joe Swick, Old School DM, Tony Sugarloaf Baker, Eric Jeppesen, Andy Hall, Chris Steele, Remy Bilodeau, Jason Hobbs, Mark Tasaka, Marco Froelich, Pierre Mongrel, Brett Pazinski, Brandon Barnes, Eileen Barnes, Dan LaValle, CW Mellencamp, Victor Wyatt, Craig Huber, Roger Braslett, Stefan Dragonspawn, Jared Rasher, Finnulf, Ray Otis, Jim Fitzpatrick, Old Scoozer Roleplaying, Ron Blessing, Curtis Takahashi, Larry Hout, Ron Bishop, Mark Richmond, Chad Glayman, Craig, Howard Bishop, Josh Wallace, Corey Welch, Angus, Eric Salzwedel, George Sedgwick, Robert Nemeth, Brian Kurtz, Laramie Wall, Eric Avia, Jeff Seifert, John Kayward, Corey Gonzalez, Niall Diamond, Aaron Relia, Jeff Goad, Aaron Coleman, Brian Rumble, Rich with Sean, David Baylog, Harrigan, Melissa Bashinsky, H.N., Colcago, Eric Tavola, Huskarl, Yorkus Rex, Ghost GM, Mike Hess Jr., Rory Weston, Jim Ingram, Daniel Garrett, Eric Frankhouse Presents, Phil McClory, Adam Grotejohn, Jay Plata, Ed Nyes, The Duke in Purple, Isaiah Aries Christian, Larry Hollis, Craig Shipman, Todd Sharp, Orcus Dorcas, Chris Shorb, Michael O'Holland, Wayne Peacock, Mike Coleman, Kevin Connealy, Zagrave, Vornak, Farty McButterpants, Andrew Lear, Craig Chunglo, Eric Lunsford, Ty Prunty, Feelin' Good Lewis, Ziga Paradzik, Nick Westbrook, John Mahoney, Crystal Eggstead, Zalea, Zwiefer, Hypnocode, Kelly Ness, and Tim Deshane. Hey, BSers. Hopefully you'll listen to this before Monday, April 25th. Because it's really important that you show up to our YouTube channel when we record episode 380 live. We've got a big announcement to make, one that you will not want to miss or hear secondhand. So head over to gamingnbs.com/YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed so you get notified when we go live on the 25th, Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time. It's going to be a big one. Thanks, BSers.
This has been a Litterbox Studio production.